cameras turned off, the campaign is died, but the work we started, it never subsided. From the desert floor to the mountain high, the cameras turn, shining the torch, we're bringing the light. 17 counties under one big sky, we're watching the records, we're asking them why. Oh, W4Nevada, the people's own desk, putting the truth to the ultimate test. For the school boards, the cities, the local town hall, we're showing up, brother, we're answering the call. From the receipts to the findings, we lay it all down. Accountability in every Nevada town. If the shadows are growing and you need some sun, bring it to us, now the healing's begun. Speak plainly, speak loud, let the truth be heard. We're keeping our promise, we're keeping our word. W4Nevada.com, you know where to go. Call or text that number, let the power flow. 702-381-4295. Nevada for Nevadans, we're still alive. Power back to the people, power back to the people.
Welcome back to Day 15, continuing coverage of W4Nevada Live. I'm Matt Winterhawk, and we are going to resume this court case. 15 days, 4 weeks. I don't know how the maths, but it does. We don't do court every day, and Saturdays and Sundays are not included. So when I talk about the fact that we're on Day 15, but then I have to also explain to somebody like, we've been covering this case for a month. Literally, it started at the end of July. We are almost to the end of August. And I believe we started with Amelia Cargill, and then we took a break, and we got Harvey Whittemore for 3 days, I believe. Then we came back the following week and had Amelia Cargill for an entire other week, I feel. And then we came to the end of that week, and we got Alan Richards, who was working for Stetson Engineer. And now we are back again this week with our new witness, and that is Bonnie Rinaldi. So as the case develops, and as we switch through testimony and cross-examination, recross and redirects, we'll be getting to watch the amazing Jeffrey Sylvester for the state of Nevada. I wish I had like a Mortal Kombat, like showed him like sliding in, all looking like a superhero. Maybe I'll do that soon. Fighting on behalf of the state of Nevada, for us and Poldenak and his team. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I slaughtered the secondary name. I don't know what heritage is behind that name, but it's hard. Poldenak. It's a neat name. But Mr. Sylvester happens to be, I'm telling you what, I've been watching a lot of court in the past year and a half, 2 years. He's interesting to watch, man. And his protege, or whoever that is that's working with him right now, sharp kid. Sharp young man. So watching them handle this case right now is amazing to me, a thing of beauty. And you can kind of see the frustration on Hutchison's face. I'm not a fan of Hutchison. Sorry. I know he was a lieutenant governor or something. I just don't like him. I don't like him. Don't like his attitude. Don't like the company he keeps. Don't like the people that are working behind him right now. I don't like the fact that Joe Cacioppo's in office right now. If you go back in the history of water inside the state in Whittemore and hell, even go to like Northern Nevada Industrial Center, go to Lyon County, go all across, go to Elko, you're going to see Resource Concepts Inc. And you're going to see that company that Joe Cacioppo was working directly for and had adverse opinions against him and his company, where he was a president and director or something. I have the files. I'll show you it all. But the fact of the matter remains that the man should have never. That's like letting the fox in the hen house. You just got a guy who made his life, career, and their careers inside of a company called Resource Concepts Inc. in managing and brokering water deals, our water, the public's resource. And you said, you know what? Let's take that shyster, that sales guy, and put him in office as the water engineer and see what the hell happens. That's okay. We're just in the middle of the Colorado Compact Agreement, which they failed, by the way. And look at the situation there that has erupted. Here's the thing. At this point, if we don't have someone beneficial to Nevadans like Adam Sullivan or Jason King, hell, even early days Pete Moros, or someone that would have cared about Nevada versus caring about contractors or developers or the purveyors of selling our natural resource to make themselves wealthy, I'm exhausted with it. That's why we watch this case. $1.5 billion in your speculation in land development, and you think Nevadans should bear the cost of your failure? No, absolutely not. Not to mention that for nearly 30 years, not just there, Mr. Whittemore and your business of Coyote Springs LLC and Sino and the rest of them, my personal opinion is that you all are cracked in the skull. You went out there, you got investments, you lived off of somebody else's millions of dollars for 30 years. You pumped water, you sold water, you pumped water, you used water in your own different developments, in whatever case it may have been, through whatever way you were able to utilize that, even though you were crossing basins and probably using irrigation for municipal and using industrial for municipal and using municipal for irrigation. I don't know what the hell you were doing. I know what I see going on consistently across this state of Nevada. And it's water wars. It's Rango. It's the damn lizard with the fat turtle behind with a gallon of his paper water behind him going, oh, I don't know if I can give you any water today, downstream gradient basins. Yeah, bitch, you can. Because it is not your water. No matter how many times you've developed that, how many millions of dollars you spent into infrastructure, wells, or otherwise, bro, when the water is laxing in an area that is critical to Nevadans to survive, you lose as the developer. You no longer get to hold it back. And at this freaking point, with that new, trust me, we got articles coming out about a water omnibus bill and about takings and trying to surrender water rights and take them back to the state so they can do. There's so many moves going on with water in this next upcoming legislative session. Look for that article coming out this weekend because I will be covering every inch of it. And we've got some people that are moving around in political seats out here that specifically because of the laws that happen inside a special legislative session, which allowed them to register multiple addresses and or false or hiding addresses, they were able to what people call carpetbag inside of this. So expect that the legislative session is going to be a hoot, to say the least. And here we are, reconvening. As they promised, we're at 1:12 p.m. You can see the case here starting to side. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please do reach out and please do share this. We have the most horrible time with visibility. Nearly 20,000 followers across all 10 plus platforms. And for some reason, we get visibility of less than 25 people. Make that make sense, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and the rest of you who continue to say freedom of speech, fantastic, but not freedom of reach. Isn't that right? You control that through algorithmic expressions. And I'm sure there's plenty of people watching a 30-year-old murder that means absolutely nothing. Oh, justice for Tupac fans. But boy, when they don't have water and they look back to understand why, it's probably going to be because they were allowing developers to either keep the water commoditized as an appreciating asset, or when they did lose the control of it, we had to pay them $1.5 billion for takings. Oh, that's not just the water. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that they're selling acre feet of water right now, $20,000 an acre foot. I could show you purchases. Matter of fact, go to the website, go to W4Nevada.com and read the article, Paper Drought. Learn about paper water versus wet water. Learn about how, for this entirety of, I don't know, since the 60s or 70s, people have literally commoditized and treated water as an appreciating asset inside of development, inside of these people. Like Southern Nevada Water Authority, they're cretins and monsters, in my opinion. Central Nevada Water is trucking matter. Look, and they'll say, well, Winterhawk, but these people, they treat the water. That's by law. They have to treat the water. That's, get out of here. That's health codes. They have to treat the water. They're not there because, oh, Southern Nevada Water Authority cares so much about giving you water, Nevadans. They don't. They're there for water. Ensminger is there for money. He looks at every damn gallon, every liter, every ounce of water is money. Look at the building in downtown Las Vegas. Look at Southern Nevada Water Authority's building. Look at the fact that their employees do not work full-scale time. However, they make on average $1,000 a day when they do work. And if you want to know more about that, then just go talk to Edmund Euling, who's been following that story since I don't know when. But the reality is most people know that everything in this case is about water. It is all about water. Everything in the state right now is about water. Yo, who's that guy that just walked in that I've never seen before with the crazy hair? That was wild. The way he walked in and looked at the crowd. I love it. I'm going to have to clip that. So here we go. It is 1:14 p.m. Let me get my notes up and let me shut my mouth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Carson, Churchill, Clark, Douglas, Elko, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lander, Lincoln, Lyon, Mineral 9, Pershing, Story, Washoe, and White Pine counties. All 17 here and accounted for, not just 2 in a sports book. We love you, Clark and Washoe, just not as much as you love yourself. Have a great day.
All right. Good afternoon, please be seated, back on the record. The witness has retaken the stand and you may redirect.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Rinaldi,
Hello.
earlier this morning, counsel was asking you some questions, and during the course of that questioning, he suggested to you that your opinions regarding whether or not the state engineer acted in good faith, whether or not the state engineer acted in bad faith, was a new opinion. Do you remember that questioning from counsel today?
I do.
And you were deposed in this case, correct?
I was.
And at the deposition, you were questioned by Mr. Sylvester, counsel for the state, right?
I was.
And do you still have that deposition in front of you?
I do.
Okay, can we turn to page 111? Let me know when you're with me.
Thank you. I'm on 111.
Fantastic. And I'm focused on pages or lines 2 through 4. At your deposition, March of 2026, Mr. Sylvester asked you the following question. Are you suggesting in your conclusion that they didn't process the maps in good faith? And what was your answer?
In my opinion, it wasn't in good faith.
Was not in good faith?
Was not in good faith.
Okay. So your opinions, your testimony as to whether or not state engineer was acting in good faith, whether or not state engineer was acting in bad faith, that's not new as of yesterday, is it?
No.
And your opinion too, in your report, in your testimony, is that the state engineer did not process CSI's maps in good faith. Was that accurate?
I think I said in a timely manner. I don't know if I said good faith in my report.
And you told Mr. Sylvester it was not in good faith, right? At your deposition?
I did.
Okay. Let's pull up exhibit 3543, please, Lauren. You were shown a lot of documents this morning by counsel, correspondence from the Las Vegas Valley Water District to Ms. Cargill, and you were asked to provide your opinions or conclusions regarding that correspondence. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay. Are you aware that Ms. Cargill spent 15 days and testified about 65 hours in this case?
No.
And are you aware that while Ms. Cargill was on the stand, she was shown a lot of this same correspondence and provided testimony regarding the facts and circumstances underlying various correspondence between CSI and the Las Vegas Valley Water District?
I have no knowledge of that.
And would you agree that you would need to understand the underlying facts and the underlying circumstances to provide opinions regarding correspondence such as this August 29th, 2017 letter from the Las Vegas Valley Water District to Ms. Cargill?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree with me then that the questions posed by counsel to you this morning regarding this letter and others like it from the Las Vegas Valley Water District are better responded to by Ms. Cargill rather than yourself?
Absolutely.
You don't have the background knowledge to assess whether or not the statements contained within this letter drafted by the Las Vegas Valley Water District are true, do you?
There may be some statement in there that I might have enough information on to say whether or not it's true, but in general, no.
Mr. Nealand also asked you some questions today regarding a public workshop that took place in July of 2018. Do you recall that?
recall the questions, yes,
He showed you an email with a link in it and a letter, and a PowerPoint presentation. Do you recall that?
I do.
Let's pull up exhibit 3593, please. And this is the PowerPoint you looked at this morning. Does this seem familiar? Remember that?
I do.
Dated July 24, 2018.
Yes, it looks familiar.
Okay. And let's go to page 6. And I'm sorry, 56. And Mr. Nealand showed you this page this morning, talked about the various options that might be available, correct?
Yes,
He talked about how it was important to the state engineer to try to implement a management strategy. Recall that?
I do. I don't recall exactly whether he said it was important for the state engineer to implement or not, but
And can we go to page 57? And right here, again, this is a PowerPoint presentation when Mr. King made his presentation to the stakeholders and members of the public. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. King in his PowerPoint presentation presents various options that might be available. You can see those on the slide.
I do.
And during questioning this morning, council asked you if, the state engineer presenting these various options to the public supported his argument that the state engineer was acting transparently to the public. Do you recall that?
I do.
And would it be important for you in your assessment of whether or not the state engineer was being open and transparent? If, for instance, the state engineer had already been preparing a draft curtailment order that wasn't mentioned during this presentation to the public, would that impact your opinion as to whether or not the state engineer was being transparent that day?
Objection, complete hypothetical.
Yes, it would affect my opinion.
If he had a draft curtailment order already in process, but wasn't telling the public members attending a meeting about water in that White River flow system.
Objection leading. Sustained.
Would it impact whether or not you believe the state engineer was being open and honest and transparent if, when presenting this PowerPoint presentation to the public, the state engineer already had a draft curtailment order in process?
I don't know. I don't understand what a draft curtailment order is, but if there were other options or other actions being taken that weren't listed here in a public workshop and intended to communicate, yeah, that would not be open and transparent.
And we want openness and transparency from our government officials, right?
You would expect it, yes.
That's one of the basic premises of your report and your opinions that you provided in this trial.
Yes.
Let's look next at 3599 and 3600, if we can maybe pull up side by side. You were shown these documents earlier this morning as well by council. These are dated August 20th, 2018 from the Las Vegas Valley Water District to the Clark County Public Works. Do you see that?
I do.
And while you were being questioned this morning, council represented that these documents were being referred to by Mr. King in his email, exhibit 3, as will serve letters. Do you recall that question earlier today?
I do recall that.
Okay. And if we look at the document, did these say anything at all about will serve or?
No, will serve letter would not be addressed to Clark County Public Works. And this is relative to a tentative map, not a final map. I wouldn't call this a will serve letter.
And during the course of your career, you've seen a lot of will serve letters?
I've seen some.
Okay.
It's not really the county's business. It's more a water purveyor's business to deal with will serve letters as well as, of course, the state engineer. But I've seen a few, and I know that this is not one of those.
Okay. And another question for you, if we go about the middle of the paragraph on each page, each exhibit, you have a sentence beginning with based on.
I see that.
Okay. And it says, can you read that sentence beginning based on?
Yes, based on the state engineer's letter dated May 16, 2018, concerning the viability of groundwater rights previously dedicated to the GID by the developer and the uncertain resolution of the
You
subsequent.
can stop there if you would. The Las Vegas Valley Water District is basing its statement in these letters, at least in part, on the state engineer's own letter dated May 16, 2018. Agreed?
Objection. Oh,
I would agree with that. It seems clear.
So the district's relying upon a separate letter created by the state engineer.
Yes,
And the state engineer, according to council, when he was questioning you this morning, the state engineer is relying upon a letter from the district that in turn relies upon a letter from the state engineer.
same objection. I'll allow her to state her understanding.
yes, that's part of the issue here is state engineer seems to be pointing to the Las Vegas Valley Water District, who's not the expert in determining availability of water.
Thank you. We could pull those down, Hunter. Thank you. And you reviewed the settlement agreement between the state engineer and CSI. That was referenced in your report. Agreed?
It was, and I did review it, yes.
Okay. And did you see in the settlement agreement where the state engineer agreed to rescind that same May 16, 2018 letter?
Yes,
And let's pull up exhibit 3700. I'm sorry. And page 7 of that exhibit. I'm sorry. You were shown this document earlier. This is correspondence from the Las Vegas Valley Water District dated September 12th, 2018. Do you see that?
I do.
And do you recall being shown this document earlier today?
There've been a lot of documents.
Fair.
I want to be clear.
This letter also relies upon the May 16, 2018 letter from the state engineer to the Las Vegas Valley Water District, doesn't it?
Yes, that's the second sentence.
Okay. And based on the settlement agreement, is your understanding that as of this date, September 12th, 2018, that May 16th letter had been rescinded by the state engineer?
Yes,
Let's next take a look at exhibit 3726. If we can, Hunter, focus in or zoom in on that email on the bottom half of the page, please. Thank you. You were shown this email chain this morning as well. This is an email chain between Tim Wilson, who at the time was the acting state engineer for Nevada, and Doug Chen, who was a representative of Coyote Springs entities. Do you recall seeing this email and being asked questions about it?
I do.
And during that questioning this morning, council pointed out the language to you that says the subject map is currently under review. Do you see that language?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. Wilson is telling Mr. Chen that as of that date, December 2nd, 2019, the map is being under review, was under review. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. And council asked you questions saying this is the state along the lines, suggesting that the state engineer is being transparent in informing CSI regarding the processing of the map at that time. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay. And would your opinion or testimony change if there was already testimony in the record from Ms. Cargill, who attended the deposition of Steve Schell? Mr. Schell testified that the map sat in his office for 2 years and no one ever looked at it.
The beginning of your question again, would my opinion change?
Correct. Would this still be evidence that the state engineer is being open, honest, and transparent with CSI? When Mr. Wilson writes to Doug Chen that the subject map is currently under review, when the employee at the state engineer's office, whose responsibility is to review that map, testified that the map sat in a box in his office for 2 years and no one ever looked at it.
It would just underscore my opinion. I didn't,
And your opinion being?
my opinion that they did not process the maps in a timely manner.
And they weren't being transparent with CSI?
Correct.
Council asked you questions this morning about the administrative process and made suggestions to you that that administrative process was still ongoing. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay. And during council's questioning, he represented to you that the administrative process was maybe reinitiated, my words, not his, in Order 1309, which was issued by the state engineer on June 15th, 2020. Do you recall that?
I do. I really don't know what administrative process might mean, but yes, I know there was
Okay.
13.
And I'm sorry for speaking over you.
That's all right.
And council also, during his questioning this morning, suggested to you that it was very important to the state engineer to meet with the stakeholders and develop an administrative process, give everyone a chance to work out issues regarding the lower White River flow system. Do you recall that questioning?
I do.
Okay. So if you accept my statement that Order 1309 is issued on June 15th of 2020, okay, accept that as true. If the first meeting for that administrative process, what they call phase 2, didn't occur until February of 2026.
Mm.
Does that change your opinions in any way?
No, it just underscores it.
Why?
Because taking 6 years to start a process that you say you're going to do in 2020 seems certainly out of the ordinary, and without any further justification, I would say that's not done in a timely manner.
Now, you spent a long time in government work, and I don't mean this as a jab, but people often will joke about how slowly governments work. And you worked in government for 27 years. June 2020 to February of 2026. Is that a concerning amount of time to start that process and have the first meeting?
It absolutely is.
Does that time period, that lapse of time, suggest to you that the state engineer was acting diligently?
It does not suggest that they were acting diligently.
After all the questions that you were asked today, all the documents you were shown, your opinion 1, do you still stand by it?
I do.
Opinion 2, do you still stand by it?
I do.
Opinion 3, you still stand by it?
I do.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Rinaldi. Ross?
Very briefly, Your Honor. 3565, please. Yes, ma'am. This is a previously admitted email from Albert Sino III, who I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your testimony is you understand to be associated with CSI, correct?
I do.
To Jason King, then state engineer. See that?
I do.
Dated May 18, 2018. See that?
I do.
Says, Jason, thank you again for your time today on the phone. So CSI is having direct communication with the state engineer, right?
Yes.
You indicated that based on your letter, that we are stopped and that our maps will not be processed at this time, should we not spend $1 more. You further indicated that your office is going to come up with a new draft order in approximately 30 days, and that we need to review that and comment when it comes out. You see that?
I do.
So CSI is aware, at least as of May 2018, of what the draft order process is going to be, right?
Only that they're going to come up with one in approximately 30 days.
Right, on redirect, council suggested to you that there was some mendacity afoot, that there was a lack of openness and transparency. Do you remember that?
I do.
So if CSI is aware of what the process is, you still stand by your opinion that there was a lack of openness and transparency?
This email does not indicate what the process is. It just says they're going to come up with a new draft order in approximately 30 days. No idea what that says, contains.
A lot of your answers, both on cross and redirect and now on my recross, are indicating you have no idea about this or that. You understand that?
I do.
Are you learning more facts about this case to either support or refute your opinions as you're on the stand?
In some cases, yes.
You feel like you had all the facts before you authored your expert opinions in this case?
I certainly didn't have all the facts.
No further
There.
questions, John.
Please redirect.
Just one question. Did you have all the facts you felt you needed to render the opinions you provided during this trial?
Absolutely. None of the facts presented to me today change my opinions.
Thank you.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you may stand down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Going to the airport. Good luck. I hope you get there in time.
All right, next witness.
CSI calls Steve Shell.
Turn my phone on. Stand and raise your hand or Facebook, please, right?
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do so swear.
Please state your name and spell it slowly for the record, please.
Stephen, Stephen, Shell, Shell.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shell, and I think on behalf of everyone, well, thank you for your patience this week. I know you've been waiting in the hall for quite some time.
Quite some time, yes.
My name is Rob Hernquist. I'm one of the attorneys that represents the Coyote Springs plaintiff entities in this litigation. We haven't spoken other than pleasantries in the hall, fair?
That's fair.
We haven't discussed the facts and circumstances of this case.
In fact, we've avoided it.
We haven't discussed your testimony or prior testimony in this case.
That is correct.
I didn't interview you. Right.
That's correct.
But you were previously deposed in this lawsuit.
Yes, I was.
And after your deposition, did anyone from the state engineer's office talk to you about that testimony?
No, I don't believe anybody did.
Okay. Has anyone, since you testified at deposition, told you that you got some things wrong or you should have testified differently?
No,
Okay. Has anyone ever asked you to change your testimony in trial today from what you previously testified to at your deposition?
not at all.
Fantastic. Again, on behalf of all of us, I know you were here on the first day of trial when we issued a subpoena, so I want to apologize that you went through that inconvenience as well. We do appreciate you being here in person.
That was a misunderstanding on my part.
I understand that you are currently retired. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And where were you previously employed?
The Division of Water Resources.
Okay. And how long were
Department
you
of
employed there?
Conservation and Natural Resources.
I apologize, I spoke over you. I'm going to do better.
No, that's fine.
The Division of Water Resources,
Correct,
the State Engineer's Office.
correct.
Okay. And how long were you there?
20 years.
20 years on the dot?
Just about 2 weeks past that.
Okay.
So it was pretty close, yes.
And what was the last title you held prior to your retirement?
Water Resource Specialist 2.
Okay. And as a water resource specialist, you were a basin engineer, fair?
That is correct.
And what is involved in being a basin engineer? What were your duties and responsibilities?
To manage the basins under our control.
Okay. And when you say manage the basins, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it means that we process applications, both change applications and new applications, and in addition to doing proof of beneficial use and things like that.
Okay. And during your time in the state engineer's office, you were involved in the process of when an entity applies for the state engineer to approve a subdivision map. Agreed?
Agreed.
And anyone that applied for a tentative subdivision map or final map north of Las Vegas, that would have gone through you?
Correct.
Okay, and that would include Basin 210.
Correct.
And you've reviewed a fair amount of subdivision maps during your 20 years and 2 weeks at the state engineer's office?
That would be correct.
Okay. Can you explain to us the process for determining whether to recommend approval or recommend denial of a subdivision map?
The first thing is to make sure that all the information contained on the maps are true and accurate. In addition, they need a purveyor, which involves a will serve. If there's water available under the will serve, then we generally recommend approval.
And you, when reviewing that, you're trying to determine whether or not that permit holder has already over allocated their allotted amount of water?
That is a portion of it, yes.
Okay.
It's not the only criteria, but it's a portion of it.
So when a subdivision map is received, the state engineer's office looks at water permits supporting the subdivision map to ensure that the water permit has not been fully used based on, you have spreadsheets in your office to determine that? And can you explain that process, what you do with the spreadsheets?
It's basically a ledger like a checkbook.
Okay.
It's you have X amount of water in your checkbook, and you will subtract that based on how much water you need for your subdivision.
And you do that comparison, and then you recommend approval or denial based on that? That the primary?
That is one of the criteria, yes.
And the other criteria are?
Is there water at the source?
Okay. And do you make that determination whether there's water at the source?
No.
Okay. And that process, reviewing the spreadsheets, that would be the process that you followed for several years?
Yes.
Does the state engineer's office, while you were there, tend to act on subdivision maps in a fairly timely manner?
Yes.
What's the average amount of time to review a map?
Probably no more than a couple of weeks.
You generally don't let them sit around for a long period of time, fair?
Unless there's a specific reason. That is correct.
And historically, you moved on reviewing subdivision maps fairly quickly?
Yes.
Okay. And that process of reviewing maps, it's the same whether it's a final map or a tentative map, agreed?
Agreed.
And at your deposition, you testified that sometimes you receive maps without a will serve. Is that right?
That's correct.
And the process is the same even if there's no will serve?
Correct.
And the maps can be approved sometimes without a will serve?
No,
Never?
never.
Is that in a statute?
I think actually it is.
You know where?
It'd be 278 somewhere.
Do you know Melissa Flatley?
Yes, I do.
And what was her position at the state engineer's office?
I don't know the official title, but she was in the legal department.
Okay. And do you recall a year or two ago where Mrs. Flatley came to you because she had to prepare to testify at a deposition in this case?
No, she never talked to me about that. No.
I'm going to make a representation to you that under the discovery rules, Coyote Springs served a deposition notice and Ms. Flatley had an obligation to educate herself on several issues so that she could properly testify to those topics at a deposition. And at that deposition, she testified that she spoke with you to educate herself on how maps are received and reviewed.
That's entirely possible, but she did not necessarily present it in the context of a deposition.
She didn't tell you the reason for the inquiry, maybe?
Exactly.
Okay. Can we show those clips on her?
Are you seeking publication of the deposition?
Ms. Flatley's deposition's already been published, and I just want to show him a couple excerpts, and then I'm going to ask some questions.
Do you need it taken down again?
Sorry?
Do you need it taken down or just a blurred thing?
Yes, taken down.
Take
Take it down.
down.
Did you consult with anybody concerning the topics that we listed in the deposition notice?
Like I said, I talked to some staff members about the process of receiving maps, but otherwise, no.
Sorry, who did you talk to?
Steve Shell and Christy Cooper.
And what did you learn from them about the map review process?
It wasn't so much the review process as it was the process of receiving a map and how that is documented.
Tell me what you learned, please.
So in the Carson City office, when a map comes in, it's routed internally to Steve Shell, who records the information onto an Excel spreadsheet. And then it's set aside until whatever queue he has for review.
All right. And when we use,
Do you agree with what Ms. Flatley said there as far as the process when a map is received?
Yes. It doesn't necessarily go into the Excel spreadsheet right then and there. That's somewhere down the road it will, but not necessarily. That's not the first thing you do.
Okay. Explain the process then, maybe in a little more detail if I didn't ask the question properly earlier. Just explain the process when a map's received so that we all understand your process while you were there.
So a map comes into our office and it went to me. They all do, and whether somebody else works on it or not. And first thing we do is record that it has come in and that fees have been received, and it looks like it's ready to be looked at. And then we go through various process. I mean, you count and make sure that the lots that they say are there are actually on the map, for instance. Then you go to a purveyor, and then you go to the spreadsheet and look at it and say, is there water available under the spreadsheet? Assuming all those things are done, then we generate a letter, and the letter recommends or does not recommend approval of it. And it goes to whoever's going to sign it.
And whoever's going to sign it would be the state engineer at the time or
his representative.
okay. Would it ever be you signing?
No.
Can we show the second clip, please?
is there a process in place as to how the state engineer looks at subdivision maps and what it considers?
Yes,
What is it?
for a tentative map, what type of subdivision map?
Well, let's start with the final subdivision map.
I'm not fully aware of like a written policy or anything, but the considerations that I was told are whether there's water available to support the subdivision.
Told by whom?
Steve Shell.
Who is, what role does he play in these proceedings?
He is our staff member who currently receives and reviews subdivision maps.
Is Ms. Flatley's testimony accurate there?
100%.
Okay. In June of 2018, are you aware that Coyote Springs submitted to Clark County two subdivision maps, a tentative subdivision map and also an 8 large parcel tentative map?
Yes,
And those applications made it to you in 2018, agreed?
I believe so, yes.
You say you believe so. Is there some uncertainty?
Well, it's been a long time.
Okay, you spoke about this at your deposition, fair?
Fair. Okay. If that's what I said, then yes, that's when I got it.
Okay, you received those in August of 2018?
Yes.
And what was your involvement with those two applications you received in 2018?
They got processed like every other subdivision gets processed. We yes,
Guess what?
they got processed. Yes.
Did you act on those maps at all?
Yes.
How so? Well, let me strike that. In 2018?
Yes.
How so?
Mark Sabazian sent a letter out detailing what we thought of those maps.
Did you review the maps
Yes.
at that time?
Yes.
Let's look at your deposition on this.
Publication of his deposition.
Yes.
So ordered.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Well, this is just for the record, a copy, not the original.
Yeah, we have a stipulation in place that it's acceptable. We're gonna start on page 20, sir. Page 19, and I'll represent to you that you were shown at the deposition. Let me strike that. I'll start over. Do you recall at your deposition you were shown those two map applications?
Yes.
Okay. And starting on page 20, line 19, council asked you, this is a document that was sent by Coyote Springs to Clark County, Nevada regarding an application for an approval of a subdivision map. And I believe at the same time, there was two 575 unit tentative subdivision map and then an 8 large parcel subdivision map. Does that ring a bell? Your answer was yes. Question, and what is your understanding of the two? And your answer was, the 8 are a large lot subdivision, and the other was a normal subdivision. Question, a normal tentative subdivision map with 575 units planned for that. Is that your understanding? Answer, yes. Question, did this application process in 2018 make it to you? Answer, yes. Question, and then can you explain your involvement then in these two applications in 2018, sir? Answer, we did not act on them at all. That was your testimony at deposition, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you're testifying today that you did act on them?
Yes, I am.
At deposition, you testified that you were directed not to work on those maps. Agreed?
No, I would not agree with that. we did act on them. That's why Mark Sabazian sent out a letter.
The question is, the question was, and then can you explain your involvement then in these two applications in 2018, sir? And your answer was, we did not act on them at all.
That would be incorrect on my part.
That was your testimony though.
It was.
For the record, you want to cite the page and line?
I do. It's page 21, lines 9 through 11. And that deposition occurred in September of 2024. Agreed?
Agreed.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Your memory was probably a little better about the underlying events then than it is now.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then the questioning, still on page 21, starting on line 14. I'm sorry, line 12, question. Okay, I guess you know my next question. Why? Answer, I cannot state that with any certainty. That was a decision made by the state engineer. He did not explain his motivations. Question. Okay, let me see if we get this right. The applications would have found its way to your office, correct? Answer, that is correct. So they did make it to your office. You stand by that?
Yes.
And then on page 22, sir, you with me?
Yes.
Line 1, did you start that process? Answer, no. Question, it got stopped. Answer, yes. Question, who by? Answer, that's an excellent question. It might have been Micheline. I'm not aware of that. I'm not certain of that. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And during that time frame, Micheline Fairbanks, she was part of the legal team for the state engineer's office. Agreed?
Agreed.
And she views applications from a legal side?
Agreed.
And at your deposition, page 22, still line 8, and as a result of what Micheline may have said, assuming it's Micheline, you didn't do anything else? Answer, I didn't do anything at all. That's correct. That was your testimony at deposition?
And I stand by that.
You didn't do anything at all?
That I did not do anything at all.
You were told not to do anything with the applications, agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. And you were told to stop working on them, but no one told you the reasons why?
That is correct.
Okay. And you weren't told by anybody within the department what was going on with those applications?
At that time, no.
At that time. Thank you for that clarification. And at that time, you didn't know if there was any correspondence or any discussions between the state engineer's office and the Las Vegas Valley Water District about the applications?
That would be correct.
And as you testified to your deposition, you simply buttoned it down, stopped working on it, and you didn't know anything about it?
That is correct.
Okay. And that was unusual, right?
Yes.
And it was unusual because the state engineer's office tends to act on subdivision maps in a fairly timely manner, right?
Correct.
You don't normally let them sit around for a long period of time.
Correct. It's a case by case basis.
And those applications with the maps, those sat in your office for 2 years?
Yes.
And it's your testimony that nobody looked at those maps during that time period?
They did not look at the physical maps, no.
Okay. And that's also unusual, right?
No, that's not unusual at all.
It's not unusual that map applications are received and never looked at?
I'm not certain they were not looked at. I said the physical maps were not looked at.
And any action by you regarding those applications was suspended from 2018 through 2020, agreed?
Agreed.
June 2018 through June of 2020?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you, is that right?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not certain of the exact month, no.
And during that time period, the maps were in a box sitting in your office.
Correct. They may still be there.
And at deposition, you said, quote, "I know nothing was being done because they were literally the maps were sitting in my office," end quote. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes,
Do you stand by that?
yes,
Okay. And where the maps were in a box in your office?
in a literal cardboard box.
And then in June of 2019, you also received CSI's final maps and Mylars, correct?
Yes,
And those also went in the box
yes.
and were not reviewed.
The physical maps were not reviewed.
And nobody at the state engineer's office reviewed those physical maps either. Agreed?
I would agree with that, yes.
And in your typical review of an application, you would review the Mylar, right?
Yes,
The Mylar is within your wheelhouse.
yes,
Okay. And the Mylar was in that box in your office
correct,
and you did not review it.
correct. We had a PDF. I don't need to look at the physical map.
Are you saying that you reviewed the PDF of the map at that time?
I looked at it, yes. Review is too strong a word.
And you don't know of anyone who looked at the applications in those boxes that were sitting in your office, agreed? During that time period?
Nobody looked at the physical maps. That is correct.
And during that time period, let's say August 2018 until June 2020, did anyone come into your office and ask if they could take a look at those maps?
No,
Tim Wilson never came in and said, "Hey, I want to look at those maps."
no.
And you don't believe during that time period, June 2018 through June 2020, anybody reviewed those maps?
A letter was generated by Mark Savazzi, and therefore he had to look at the electronic versions of those maps.
Do you believe?
Do I know that? Actually, no. I was not physically in the office when he did that, but in his office.
And do you know when he prepared that letter, is it based on the actual maps at all?
Yes,
It's your testimony that that letter is based on the maps and that his determination was based on a review of the maps?
the maps are a portion of what he was reviewing, but yes,
Okay, did you see him review the maps?
no,
Did he come to you and say, "Hey, Mr. Shell, Steve, buddy, I need to take a look at those maps"?
no, he does not need to do that. That's public information on our local network. Anybody can look at those maps. You can look at them now.
Did anyone ever stop by your office and ask what was in the boxes?
No,
And you testified earlier about the ordinary process. The ordinary process is that you would be the one reviewing the maps and making a determination, correct?
correct.
And I'm going to butcher his name, Mr. Savadian?
Savazlian.
Savazlian. You'll
Yes.
probably have to correct me again.
It took me a long time too, so
Mr. Savazlian, is he generally involved in the review of map applications?
Yes, he's actually the one that normally signs them.
Was he a supervisor of yours?
Yes.
Did you talk to Mr. Savazlian about the CSI maps at all?
Yes.
Did he consult you about your review of the maps?
Yes.
And when was that?
We had a meeting with several people involved, including Mr. Savazlian, where we discussed what we wanted to do with those maps. That was effectively the review of the maps.
That was in June of 2020?
Yeah, I think so.
We talked about. Yeah. 2 years after they were submitted.
Well, they were looked at prior to that.
You think?
No, well, you're getting me on a technicality. Did they actually look at the maps? That's a good question. Did they understand the situation with the maps, the source of water? That was really the issue with it. So yes, that effectively is why they were held up.
And that was shared with you?
Eventually.
But not during that time?
No.
Okay. And not prior to the time of your deposition?
That's correct.
You learned about that after your deposition, the reasoning?
Yes. That might not be fair to say. Like I said, we had a meeting on it prior to Savazlian signing that first letter, and we discussed the map. The maps themselves are not that important. It's the source of water that matters. The maps are just a physical manifestation of what they intend to do.
At your deposition, you were asked questions about that, and you repeatedly testified that it was your understanding that the maps weren't being reviewed at all during that 2-year period, right? August of 2012 or August of 2018 through June of 2020.
That would be correct.
Okay.
That's out of context, but that's correct.
Well, that was your testimony at your deposition.
Yes, and I stand by that.
Okay. And that additional context, you didn't speak of those things at your deposition, did you?
I was not asked about them, no.
But you didn't speak about them, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. And at your deposition, you talked about how the ordinary process was taken out of your hands. You stand by that still?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
The ordinary process would have been what you described earlier, where you look at the spreadsheets and check to see if CSI had already over allocated the amount of water that was allowed under its permits.
That's correct.
I want to make sure I got the technical part
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And that was taken out of your hands here.
That is correct.
The ordinary process was not followed.
That is correct.
And at the time, no one told you why they took it out of your hands.
At that time, no.
You learned about that.
Prior to 2020.
And at the time of your deposition, I believe you said the boxes were still in your office with the maps in them, right?
They may still be there. Except it's not my office anymore.
When you received those maps in August of 2018, did anybody tell you that the state engineer had entered into a settlement agreement regarding the processing of those maps?
No.
At that time, you didn't know anything about
At
that.
that time, I did not know.
Did anyone tell you that under a settlement agreement, the state engineer was obligated to review those maps in good faith.
I was not aware of it at that time.
You didn't know about it until your deposition, agreed?
Yes,
No one told you about the settlement agreement. You learned about the settlement agreement when you were deposed in this case.
correct.
Okay. And at that time, Jason King didn't tell you that the state engineer was obligated, had assumed an obligation on the settlement agreement to review the maps in the ordinary course and in good faith.
That is correct.
And notwithstanding any obligations under that settlement agreement to review the maps in good faith, review them in the ordinary course, it's your testimony, the maps sat in your office for 2 years.
Yes,
You did not review the maps in your ordinary course that you described earlier.
I reviewed the maps in the ordinary course. I had nothing more I could do than look at them.
And again, at your deposition, you said that you did not review them.
I think that's just a misconstrued statement. Did I look at the maps? Yes. Did I review them personally? No, I was not the one that generated the letter that came out of the initial reception of the map.
So your testimony here is that you looked at them but did not review them?
That would be correct.
In the ordinary course, you would review the maps.
Yes,
You wouldn't merely look at them.
the maps got reviewed, but I guess I could say this, they got reviewed by committee.
Not my question, but my question is you did not personally review them.
I looked at the maps, yes.
Not my question.
That you need to define that because I don't know what you're asking me.
Your Honor, can I ask for maybe 10-minute recess so I can kind of go through the transcript here and save podium time?
All right, let's reconvene at 2:30.
Thank you. All right.
Well, that was unexpected. Gotta make sure I take my diction off. So, I don't know why we just went to a little bit of an afternoon break or an afternoon recess. I'm not even ready to be putting out my afternoon update and or my day wrap. So we're just going to wait. Looks like we'll be back here in 10 minutes. Great. Share this out. Please do. And there are a plethora of updates. You can also go over to our website, W4Nevada.com. I'm working on a couple different articles. I've got an article about the legislative session and committees and water omnibus bill coming out this weekend. So we've got some different things that you need to be looking into before the legislative session starts back up. Folks, this is, if I could ever stress to you the most important time in your entire lifetime to be paying attention to government and literally be right there in the middle of it, asking the question and opposing and standing up and directing them to do exactly as they should, because we, the people and or the public, Nevadans, Americans, are in charge, not the people that are elected and appointed. You've got people that are on their way out in the middle of a primary election that will be continuing this November to put new people in seats. However, the people that are legislating and working inside of committee are people that are still there from previous, and you can expect that whatever hits the floor will be a remnants of who was in there. And the people that continue to be inside of legislative session. Ladies and gentlemen, it was not that long ago they opened up a special legislative session to give tax breaks and create a Hollywood inside of Clark County that would literally rest on the backs of 15 other counties. They're doing the same thing with tax abatements with data centers or data centers. Tomato. I really don't care. The funny thing about that situation is that everyone is pretending to be ignorant across this state. Many of the commissioners, city council members, But the fact of the matter remains that many of them were inside offices for the Northern Nevada Development Authority, for Western Northern Nevada Development Authority, for the National, whatever that, NACO, that as well. They had so many different organizations that they were having serial communication across with people without having any open meeting, right? They weren't exactly televising these conventions that they were attending and then coming back to their council or commission or government offices and or elected or appointed offices and literally moving forward in a ways in which the committees and convention people that they were just talking to and having meetings with, they move that forward. The same things to be said about legislative session. You've got 63 legislators. I'm going to say it right here. I bet you less than 5 of them know what the hell they're doing. Less than 5, probably. Out of 63 legislators. That's your senators and your assembly members. And you got people that moved all over this state within the last year just to fill seats so that they could retain what they call power. But there's no power in those offices. The people that are behind the monikers, the elected and or appointed, they believe they're powerful because they've misconstrued what government is. You're there to be a representative of the people. Therefore, the power does not rest behind your name badge or moniker. It's behind me. You know what I mean? It's the people. It's the actual Nevadans, the actual Americans that control this. The difference is you've allowed them to not understand their power. And you wanted it that way. And you shortened their public comments. And you made sure to do things through obfuscation, omittance, and or utilization of Nevada revised statutes that could give you trade secrets that offered and operated as a non-disclosure agreement. So you could say, no, I didn't sign an NDA. But you 100% hid things from Nevadans for over a decade. And now here we are with some of the most egregious acts against Nevadans when it comes to natural resources and conservancy. And they leveraged every rural county into failure through their education using ARPA funding, COVID funds, and government subsidy that literally allowed all of our counties to be in such detriment and a fiduciary downfall that most of them were leveraged when these data centers and or these billionaires or corporations came in. And so your commissioners and council members, they go, oh, we're doing great because we brought in the millions of dollars that we were at deficit. Well, fantastic, ladies and gentlemen, but who is responsible for the deficits? You, who were in the elected and appointed positions. You, who were on the committees for students per pupil disbursement inside of educational funds that left millions and millions of dollars in holes inside of every county, including the larger ones like Clark County, who surplus their own and then talked about fiduciary failings and surplusing teachers. This happened all across. So when you failed every piece of infrastructure by overspending at an administrative level, meaning bureaucracy, right? Exactly what DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, was supposed to be about with Elon. You know, where they didn't enforce anything. They were an oversight. They showed him everything. They went, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. But they didn't do anything about it. They had no authority. The things that were cut, and then the ramifications and or the consequences that happened because of that became the fault of Elon, the fault of the Doge, the fault of, oh, look what they did. They cut those they couldn't do anything without the authority of the governmental departments. What it was is the accountability and transparency within the departments of where they had been literally deceiving the American people was too large. So they had to cut it. And when they cut it, those people that were dependent upon the subsidy in which they have exploited to create the subsidy lines inside of federal expenditures. If you think that the Congress, 535 members, are doing anything different than what your 63 legislators are doing right here at a state level, you are sadly mistaken. They are there to create programs to solve problems that they create. Does that make sense? It's sad, but I like to call them all a bunch of caucus suckers because every one of them is involved in committees and caucuses, and the caucuses are involved with non-governmental organizations and non-profit organizations that their wife, their husbands, their friend, their business investors, someone runs. Someone's getting paid. Someone gets designated as a facilitator of nonprofit organizational funds and our non-government organizational funds that are put into an omnibus or continuing resolution at a federal level, which is then dispersed by a assembly and or a Congress member, a House or senator, who is now their family member is in control of millions of dollars. If you want something to representative of that, look no further than Ilhan Omar's husband. Third husband, second husband, I don't know which one it is. You do the math, not the meth, folks. That's not W4Nevada Live's job. But what I will tell you is 100% they are doing this at a federal level. They are doing it at a state level. And if you want to know why we're $40 trillion in debt, look no further than those who are elected and appointed who have sat in offices for over a generation. A great many people. And we're not just talking about Steny Hoyer or Nydia Velasquez or Nancy Pelosi or Schumer or any of these people. I'm talking about all of them. Do you know Nevada's Constitution literally has provisions in there for term limits? Yet every one of the people that get inside of our House, aka the Assembly and the Senate here, they like to run the full 12 years at a 2-year pace. And then they like to get into another position that they were not qualified for and run for its full term. And then get into another position and run it when they weren't qualified for it and take a full term. And then you do that for 43 years of my life in the state of Nevada, and you realize something very similar happens every time. And it didn't matter which side of that bird, which at this point, I don't think it should be an American eagle anymore. I think it should be a fucking dodo bird, because the people on both sides of that dumbass bird's wings right now know exactly what they do. They know exactly who they harm. They know exactly how they are the ones that are willing to sell you out, to be special, to have a security team, to literally be able to use political contributions for guns and security teams because they themselves are a target. Now, how are you a target when you make less than $7,800 in a general session and you only have a job every 2 years? Please make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen, because the job and or the Assembly and Senate has never been about the job. It's about the access and how you can influence and holding power for a team. Was it Team Jacob or was it Team Edward? Because it didn't matter. You started to realize that all these years have come to this, dividing you, distracting you. Are you gay? Are you trans? Are you Jewish? Are you Protestant? Are you Catholic? Are you Christian? What flag do you raise? Where'd you come from? Who's your grandma? What movie did you like? What sports team? When all in all, that actually matters is the fact that it is ours. Everything. No, we may not like the way that we came to be America. We happen to be on a continent called North America, which would make Canadians Americans. Mexicans are Americans. We're Americans. We are the United States in America. And it's about time that Americans realize exactly what it is that we're doing here. I have no animus or animosity towards anyone. Everyone in this state and in this country is my fellow Nevadan here first and my fellow American. Unless, of course, they were here by illegal means. Now, what does that mean? Well, does that mean that your country solicited, I don't know how many thousands of different people to bring here so that they could replace you? Because you, sir, ma'am, son, daughter, have woken up. You no longer are going to accept the fact that they split wages in the early 80s and then made everyone inside the household work for what your father and or your mother was working solely for to provide an income for the home. What used to be a one-earner home is now everyone must work. That is society. And then you have subsidy based on the fact that nobody educated and or was able to raise or rear their children properly. They were handed off to educational departments to be groomed into whatever it is we have in society today. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reconvening. Looks like we got 3 minutes before they're back in there. Once again, I don't know why we went to break, but we did. So welcome back. Thank you so much for joining in. Carson, Churchill, Clark, Douglas, Elko, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lander, Lincoln, Lyon, Mineral, Nye, Pershing, Story, Washoe, and White Pine. All of them. Not just two in a sports book. Right, Clark and Washoe? Anyways, tune in, enjoy, thank you, share it out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do reach out. 702-381-4295. You're watching W4Nevada Live's continuing coverage afternoon day 15, Coyote Springs LLC versus State of Nevada in a $1.5 billion takings case.
Should we please, we're back on the record? You know, resume.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Shell, did you review any documents to prepare for testifying today?
I've reviewed my deposition, yes.
Any documents other than the transcripts?
I may have reviewed some of the rulings, but briefly.
Did you do that on your own or were you meeting with somebody?
I did it on my own with the assistance of other people.
Who are those other people?
Counsel,
Okay, meeting counsel that's sitting here today?
yes.
When did you meet with counsel?
3 times.
When?
Monday, and I don't remember prior to that exactly, but total of 3. Oh, it's because we did Zoom.
Okay. How long did you meet with council on Monday?
About 2 hours.
And you said there were 2 prior meetings?
Yes,
And when were those?
they were on Saturdays. I don't remember the exact dates, fairly recently though.
And 2 prior meetings other than the Monday meeting?
That's correct.
And start on Monday, the meeting prior to that, how long?
The meeting prior to that was about 2 hours.
Okay.
The one before that was about 3.
Just those 3 meetings or any others?
That was all.
Who was present during those meetings?
Mostly Greg and his dad.
Greg Sylvester and Jeff Sylvester?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't remember his name. He was there.
Mr. Nealand?
Yes, Mr. Nealon.
Okay. He was there for all 3 meetings?
No,
Anyone else?
no,
Have you had any conversations or meetings without disclosing the substance with anyone from the Attorney General's office regarding your testimony?
no.
When you met with counsel, did you review documents?
Yes,
And you reviewed your deposition transcript?
yes,
And you talked about your testimony in this trial?
yes.
Objection, that's privilege, Your Honor. It's a client privilege that to the
It's
extent
not
that
the subject of communication, it's just the fact that there was communication.
he was asking about communication with respect to the subject of this trial.
I'm sorry,
He was asking about communications regarding the subject of this trial.
but it's not disclosing what the communications were over.
I'm not getting into the substance of anything.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you reviewed documents with counsel?
Yes,
You reviewed your transcript with counsel?
yes,
And you talked about how to present your testimony at trial today?
should I answer that one?
You talked about your trial testimony?
Yes,
You earlier, you made a distinguish or distinguished a question. You said at the deposition, your answers were response to Mylars or physical maps and that maybe people didn't ask you the right questions. Did I understand you right?
that would be correct. Yes,
That's the position. And did you, that was your position during the deposition?
that is my position currently.
That's not my question, sir. At the deposition, was that the process in your head? They're not asking me the right questions?
Yes,
So when you were talking about the maps, you were just solely focused on the Mylars or physical maps
no,
when you were answering those questions
No.
about maps?
no.
Okay, what was your understanding of the word maps at your deposition?
The maps are maps. There's much more to approval of a subdivision than just the physical map.
Okay, my question is just about the word map and your understanding definition of that word at the time you were deposed in this case, okay?
Okay,
When you were asked questions about maps at your deposition, were your answers based on a definition of solely the Mylars or solely the PDFs and Mylars or something else? What was your understanding of that word?
my understanding would be the application for approval of a subdivision, which includes maps.
Okay, and that application includes or exists in both hard copy and electronic form, I think you said earlier?
Correct.
And when you were answering questions, you were talking about that universe, both the electronic format and the physical copies?
Correct.
Okay, and your answers in response to questions regarding maps at your deposition, those answers would have included both the electronic and physical copies of those maps?
It would depend on the context of the question. If you asked me what was sitting in a box in my office, that's the physical map. That is not the PDF.
I didn't ask you any questions, did I?
No,
I wasn't there.
I'm just clarifying for you.
But you were asked a lot of questions at your deposition about maps, weren't you?
Yes,
You were asked a lot of questions at your deposition about whether or not the maps were being reviewed.
okay,
And it's not okay. Is it a yes or no? Do you agree?
yes,
Okay. And my question to you, I want to make sure that we're communicating moving forward today. It'll go a lot faster, I promise you. At your deposition, you understood questions regarding maps to mean both the physical maps as well as electronic copies of that same map?
again, it depends on the context of the question itself.
And at your deposition, how many times did you ask counsel for clarification as to context when you're answering questions about maps as to whether counsel was inquiring about physical maps or both physical and electronic?
I don't think I ever did.
I'll agree with you. Never, you didn't raise it once, did you?
No, I don't believe I did.
You didn't seek clarification once.
No.
Okay. And let's go back to your deposition again at page 6. Let me know when you're with me.
Is the deposition in here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is, yeah, okay, never mind. Whatever.
Are you with me?
I am now.
All right, starting at page line 9. We're gonna look at lines 9 through 12. You with me?
Yes.
Counsel said, probably most important is if you don't understand my question or you're unclear about it, please let me know so that I get the opportunity to rephrase it so that we have an accurate communication. Did I read that right?
Correct.
And counsel asked you, said that to you at the deposition, right? This transcript's accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And then it goes on down pages or lines 18 and 19 on page 6. Counsel concludes, do you have any questions about the process, sir? And your answer, no, I do not. Did I read that right?
Correct.
Okay. So you understood at your deposition if you had, there was any ambiguity or you didn't understand a question regarding maps or anything else, you had an obligation to ask counsel to rephrase to get your true and accurate testimony, right?
An obligation? I'm not sure it's an obligation. But yes, if I have a question, I should ask the question.
And you did not do that at the deposition.
No.
You've only after meeting with counsel for 8 or more hours have you made that distinction on the record.
Objection argumentative, Your Honor.
Say that again.
Argumentative.
What was your objection?
Argumentative, Your Honor.
Can I respond to that? An argumentative question assumes that, yeah, okay.
Please restate the question.
Sure. What I'm trying to ask is, it's only after you met with counsel for 8 or more hours to prepare for your trial testimony that you raise that distinction between an electronic map versus a physical map. You didn't raise it at the deposition.
I did not raise it at the deposition.
So, as of August 20th of 2018, what was your understanding of the process that CSI's map application was making?
We sent out a letter. I think Mark Saboslian was the one that sent that letter out, stating what we wanted to see from CSI.
Okay. Turn to page 49 of your deposition, please, sir.
Okay.
Let me know when you're.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Page 49?
Yes, I am.
We're going to start on line 11, okay?
Yep.
The question, as of August 20th, 2018, what was your understanding of the process this map application was making that CSI had made in May? There's an objection. Answer, it was making no progress. Question, the map was making no progress? Answer, correct. Question, even though it had been taken off your desk, you're sure that it was making no progress? Answer, the map itself? No. Question, why? Answer, because we did not act on it. Question, okay, when you said it was taken off your desk, that also means that no one else at the state engineer was giving any consideration to that application, correct? Answer, correct. And that's starting page 49, line 11, through page 50, line 3. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
And you told us earlier, the maps for about 2 years were sitting in a box in your office. Agreed?
Agreed.
You're not changing that part today?
No.
Okay. And you also then received another map that was submitted in June of 2019 with the Mylars. I think we spoke about that before the break. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, and those also went in the box?
Yes,
And no one at the state engineer's office reviewed those?
that I know of.
Okay. And in your, strike that, we covered that earlier, apologies. Let's take a look at exhibit 192. And Mr. Shell, this is a document you were shown at your deposition. We're going to start from at the back. We can scroll through it, Mr. Shell. I want you to have a chance to familiarize yourself with the email thread before I start asking questions. So do you want it to go through page by page?
I have seen this document before, yes.
I bet you have.
Yes.
Recently, maybe. Don't answer that. So we see here on August 15th of 2019, Doug Chen sent an email to Tim Wilson, CCing you. And you're copied on it. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. And Mr. Chen's asking Mr. Wilson about the large lot subdivision map. Agreed?
Agreed.
And as of that date, CSI subdivision maps remain sitting in your office.
Correct.
Okay. And according to Mr. Chen in this email, you told him that Tim Wilson was personally reviewing the map. So the
Correct.
email says. You have no reason to doubt that's what you told Mr. Chen?
I have no reason to doubt that.
Did Mr. Wilson ever discuss this email with you?
I don't believe you discussed this particular one, no.
You said you don't believe, or is it a no?
Don't know how to answer that question. If I say no, it means it's definitely no, and I'm telling you that I'm not 100% certain. I am very confident we did not discuss it. But that goes back too far. I don't have a memory like that.
Let's go back to your deposition then again, okay?
Mhm.
Page 73 or 74, I apologize.
Yes,
Are you with me?
yes.
Great. Page 74, lines 7 and 8. You can back up if you want to confirm that this is about the same email, but you were asked, did you and Mr. Wilson discuss this? Answer, no. Did I read that right?
Yes,
Okay. So do you agree that you did not discuss this email with Mr. Wilson?
yes.
Mr. Wilson never came into your office to look at the map, the materials in those boxes?
That I can absolutely say no.
No, he never came in to look at them?
That's correct.
All right, I think we had a double negative. I just want to ensure.
Oh,
that we're
okay,
communicating.
you know.
And sir, similar to what you were told at the deposition, if I'm asking you a question and you don't understand, you need me to rephrase it, please let me know and I'll rephrase it. The idea is that we communicate. No one wants to trick you in anything. It's not a TV show. There's no gotcha. If there's an uncertainty, ambiguity, please speak up. Understand?
I have so far, yes.
And looking back, just as you're admonished at the deposition, when people look at the transcript of proceedings, if you don't speak up, we're going to presume that you understood the question posed and that you were answering the question that was posed to you. Understood?
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll start. Mr. Chen in this email also writes that in the last paragraph, the map, along with a report by Stetson providing verification of water quantity, initial water quantity for Village A, were submitted on June 13, 2019. Do you see that language?
Yes.
Did you ever discuss that report, that Stetson report with Mr. Wilson?
No.
We can go back up. Zoom out of this. I want to look at the August 23rd response. We can. All right. You see that response from Mr. Wilson on Exhibit 192, Mr.
Yes.
Shell? Okay, it's dated August 23rd, 2019. Agreed?
Agreed.
Mr. Wilson writes back and says the matter is, quote, still under review, end quote. Do you see that?
Correct.
You were not part of any alleged review at that time, correct?
I was not.
Agree. We agree?
Agreed.
Okay. I want to make sure we're not ambiguous moving forward. And you don't believe any review was being conducted at that time, fair?
Fair.
And despite Mr. Wilson saying the matter is still under review, you still had not received approval from Mr. Wilson to process the maps.
That is correct.
And then if we can, let's go to the November 7th email in this chain. It's a lengthy email. I'm not going to ask you to read the entirety. I want to use this though, maybe for our timeline, Mr. Shell, okay?
Correct. Good. Agreed.
So on November 7th, 2019, Mr. Chen reaches out to Mr. Wilson, gives us detailed explanation, and you're copied on that email along with Adam Sullivan and Micheline Fairbank. Agree?
Agreed.
And at this point in time, did Mr. Wilson discuss the review of CSI's maps with you?
No.
And at that time, it was still your responsibility. You were the primary person to process maps.
Correct.
Okay. The ordinary course is the maps would have gone to you.
Correct.
Okay. Not Mr. Wilson.
Correct.
But you weren't permitted to fulfill your responsibility in making a recommendation either way at this point in time.
I was instructed not to.
And at the time of your deposition, you didn't recall who instructed you not to. Is that still the case?
Yeah, that's still the case. I'm still not sure. It was somebody from the corner office, but that doesn't help you.
Okay. And at that time, you had no idea why this application was taken out of your hands.
That is correct.
Okay. And you weren't involved in any of the issues or concerns that Mr. Chen had raised in this email.
That is correct.
And then Mr. Wilson responds on December 2nd of 2019, if we can pull that up, Hunter. Mr. Wilson writes, the subject map is currently under review. Do you see that?
Yes.
And you don't know whether or not at that time, Mr. Wilson was actually reviewing the matter, do you?
I did not know. No, that is correct.
That's the question, for your knowledge. And at that time, the boxes were still in your office, right?
That is correct.
With the maps and the Mylars and the applications.
That is correct.
Okay. And you're not aware of anyone that had been going through them up to that point,
I am not aware. That is correct.
including Mr. Wilson.
Including Mr. Wilson.
Okay. And then let's look at the December 5th follow-up from Mr. Wilson. Do you see the December 5th response, Mr. Shell?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And in this email, Mr. Wilson copies you along with Ms. Fairbank and Mr. Sullivan again. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Mr. Wilson states that he and his staff are engaged in a review of the totality of factors that relate to this office's responsibility in reviewing and deciding whether to approve subdivision maps, end quote. You see that language?
Yes, I do.
At the time of your deposition, you didn't know what totality of factors Mr. Wilson was referencing. Do you recall that?
That is correct.
Is that still your position today?
Yes, it is.
That part hasn't changed?
No.
Okay. And Mr. Wilson also states in that email that, quote, there are many factors relating to the project, end quote. Do you know what factors he was referring to there?
At the time, no. Do I now? Yes, but not then.
The time you were CC'd on and on this email, you had no idea.
That is correct.
Okay. And you had no idea whether what Mr. Wilson was writing was true or not.
That is correct.
Okay. And going back to the December 2nd email. At that time, you had no idea whether what Mr. Wilson wrote is true or not, did you?
That is correct.
You had no idea whether, quote, the subject map is currently under review was true or not.
That is correct.
Okay. And at that time, the map, the materials, the application were sitting in a box in your office.
That is correct.
And you hadn't reviewed them.
That is correct.
And it's your best of your knowledge, no one else had either.
That is correct.
Okay. And during that time period, as far as you knew, the applications were not being reviewed at all.
That is correct.
Okay. And those maps and the applications, they sat in your office for approximately 2 years.
They may still be in that office.
You mentioned that earlier. And during that time period, those maps were not being processed, were they?
That is not necessarily correct. We did process those maps. As a result, I sent out a letter. That was our response to the application.
And when you say that, you're talking about the letter dated June 17th of 2020?
Correct.
Okay. So, and my question, maybe it was poorly phrased, but up until that point, they were not being processed, were they?
That's correct. Yes, I would agree with that.
They were sitting in those boxes in October of 2018,
Correct.
November of 2018.
Correct.
Nothing was done with those maps in the period of time from August 29th, 2018 to January of 2019, correct?
Correct.
They just sat there.
Correct.
They weren't being processed.
Correct.
They weren't being considered.
Correct.
And you were not aware that the state engineer had promised to process them pursuant to the terms of a settlement agreement.
I had not seen this settlement agreement at all, so that is correct.
And in addition to not seeing it, no one told you about it, correct?
That is correct.
No one came to you and said, we've entered into a settlement agreement with CSI regarding the maps.
That is correct.
No one told you we have an obligation to do A, B, or C under the settlement agreement.
That is correct.
You didn't know the settlement agreement existed until your deposition in this case.
Correct.
Okay. Let's take a look at that. Exhibit 83, please, Hunter. This is the settlement agreement. You saw this at your deposition. Remember that?
Yes,
Okay. Have you reviewed this document since your deposition?
I don't believe I have, no.
And do you see paragraph 3 there? That first page, can we blow that up maybe, Hunter? I'm sorry, paragraphs 3 and 4.
Number, yeah.
Number 3 and 4. Yeah, there we go. And you were shown this language during your deposition, correct, Mr. Shell?
Correct.
You recall reviewing this and providing testimony on it?
Yes, I do.
And you see in paragraph number 4, the state engineer agrees to process in good faith all maps. See that?
Yes,
Okay. And then it goes on to say, in accordance with the state engineer's ordinary course of business. Do you see that?
yes,
Okay, and you were asked questions about those provisions at your deposition. Do you recall that?
yes.
And you described, when we started this afternoon, the ordinary course of how maps are reviewed at the state engineer's office during that time period, right?
Right.
Okay. And these maps were not reviewed according to that process, were they?
No, they were.
They were? The maps were?
Yes, they were. They were not signed, but they were reviewed, yes,
When?
when they came in.
By whom?
Initially by me, and then somewhere down the road, we had meetings about it.
All right. And again, at your deposition, you said no one looked at those maps. So now today you're coming
Well-
to trial and you're saying that they were reviewed.
This goes back to the physical maps versus the PDF maps. Nobody looked at the physical maps, no.
Okay. So your deposition in the trial of this case is that the PDFs, the electronic versions of those maps were reviewed promptly.
Yes,
And even though you said otherwise at your deposition, and your reason for that, if I understand you, is that at your deposition, you interpreted it as physical maps versus the electronic.
that would be correct.
Okay. And you sat throughout your deposition for 3.5 hours and didn't raise that with counsel.
That is correct.
Okay. You instead offered testimony that the maps had never been reviewed.
That is correct.
And now you're asking the court to believe that you actually did review them promptly, but didn't mention it at your deposition and provide a different testimony based on your definition of the word maps in your head.
Again, this is context. We were talking about, I don't actually care whether it's a physical map or a PDF map. Anybody can look at those.
Right. I'm just trying to understand because, a moment ago, you told us that the maps weren't being processed or considered. But you're also telling us that they had been processed and considered depending on
The fact
when
that
I
Mark
asked.
Savazlian,
I need to finish my question and I'll give you time to respond. I'm sorry. I don't mean disrespectful, but just allow me time to finish and you'll be allowed time to respond, okay?
yes,
And we won't speak over each other and we'll be gentlemen and respectful, okay?
yes,
I'll do my best. At times today, you've testified that the maps were not being processed and were not reviewed. And other times today, you've told the court that the maps were processed and were reviewed. There's still a disconnect today. Agreed?
agreed.
You've told the court that they were not being processed and were not being reviewed. And you've also said that they were reviewed. Right?
Right.
So your deposition, you testified that you didn't look at the maps in 2018.
If that's what I said, then that's what I said, yes.
But today you're telling us you did.
Again, I think there's some context here. We had decided not to sign the maps right away, which is in effect being reviewed. There wasn't really any need to open the physical maps and look at them, or even the PDFs, although I'm sure I did look at the PDFs because they're easier to look at. Does that constitute anything more than just looking at them? No.
But you didn't mention any of that at your deposition, did you?
I was not asked that question.
You were asked a lot of questions about your review of the maps and processing of the maps at the deposition, were you not?
Yes, I was.
And that was not your testimony at your deposition, was it?
Again, it's context. It's taken out of context. Did we look at the maps? Yes. Did we discuss the maps? Yes. Did we go beyond that? No.
Let's take a look at your deposition again. We're going to start on page 49.
49?
I'm going to ask the questions as we go through this transcript, and if you could provide the answer under the A. Have you reviewed the transcript previously?
Yes, I have.
So you understand sort of the format where the Q would be the question that was
Oh,
posed?
yes, absolutely.
And
Yes.
then the A was the answer
Yeah,
that you
yes.
provided?
Yes,
Okay, so we'll kind of role play and I'll ask the questions and you provide the answer. Is that fair?
I can do that.
All right. As of August 20th, 2018, what was your understanding of the process this map application was making that CSI had made in May?
It was making no progress.
The map was making no progress.
Correct.
Even though it had been taken off your desk, you're sure that it was making no progress.
The map itself, no,
Why?
because we did not act on it.
Okay, when you said it was taken off your desk, that also means that no one else, the state engineer, was giving any consideration to that application, correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us why?
I'm fairly certain that the reason was because they were concerned about the availability of water for it.
What was the state engineer doing to determine whether or not there was sufficient water?
I have no idea. I was not part of that discussion.
Okay, but nonetheless, the application came to a complete stop, correct?
I'm not supposed to add things, but I'm going to tell you that the map sat in my office specifically.
Do not volunteer information.
I know, but no, that's why I know nothing has been done because they were literally in the maps sitting in my office.
Okay, how would they sit on your desk or in your office?
They were in a box.
How long were they in that box before anybody took them out? Are they still in the box?
No, they're still in the box. But it was about 2 years. It was a long time.
They just sat there.
Yes,
Were they sitting in that box or those boxes in September of 2018?
yes,
Were they sitting in those boxes in October 2018?
yes,
November 2018?
yes,
Nothing was done with those maps in the period of time from August 29th, 2018 to January of 2019, correct?
correct,
They just sat there.
correct,
They weren't being processed.
correct,
They weren't being considered.
correct.
Well, were you aware that the state engineer had promised to process them?
No, I was not.
If we look at Exhibit 16 in the book, do you have any knowledge about the fact that CSI filed a lawsuit over that letter, the May 16th, 2018?
I was not aware of that, no.
Are you aware that the state engineer rescinded that letter because of various reasons involved in the lawsuit?
No, I was not aware.
And you see the provisions exhibit, well, first of all, who's that letter signed by?
Kent Robinson and Jason King and Bulletin and
Okay, Albert Sino and Kent Robinson. And then on your side of the fence, Mr. Balatin and Mr. King, correct?
correct,
And Mr. King at that time was the state engineer.
correct,
And the state engineer committed number 4. The state engineer agrees to process in good faith any and all maps or other issues as requested by CSI and or its agents, affiliates, in accordance with the state engineer's ordinary course of business. Did I read that correctly?
yes,
Meanwhile, those applications were sitting in boxes and unattended to, correct?
Correct.
And they stayed in those boxes for how long, notwithstanding the settlement commitment?
Approximately 2 years.
So they were not being processed in good faith, were they? And there's an objection. Let's make it easy for you. They weren't being processed, were they?
They were not being processed.
And that was your testimony at your deposition.
Yes.
Rob, you want to put the page and line numbers just for the record?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's page 50, line 12 through page 53, line 8. Would you agree with me, Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you start on page 59 or 49, Rob? Line 11?
Yes, it was 49.
I appreciate that clarification. Thank you so much. Page 49, line 11 through page 53, line 8 for the record. Let's take a look at the letter that you've referenced a few times today, Exhibit 57. The first page of Exhibit 57 is an email, which you may not be familiar with, but if we can go to page 200. All right, Mr. Shaw, do you recognize this?
Yes.
This is one of the documents you stated that you reviewed to prepare for your testimony in this trial today, correct?
Correct.
Straight down. Now, you signed this letter, correct? We go to the signature, Hunter?
I signed a letter. I agree.
Yeah, and that's your signature?
Yes.
Okay. And a couple days before you signed this letter, you had a meeting with some people at the state engineer's office to discuss whether the recommendation for CSI's subdivision map should be an approval or a disapproval, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And prior to that meeting, there was no email correspondence about the meeting.
I cannot answer that.
Let's go to your
Word had to get around somehow.
Let's go to your
Typically, it would
transcript.
be email.
I'm sorry for speaking over you, sir. I didn't mean to disrespect.
No,
you
you're
there.
fine.
Let's take a look at page 87 of your transcript, sir. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right, page 87, starting at line 7. Question, okay, was there any email correspondence, sir, about the meeting prior to you going to that meeting?
No.
This was all verbal?
Yes.
Thank you. And again, that's page 87, lines 7 through 11. And who was at that meeting?
The state engineer, Micheline Fairbanks, Adam Sullivan, and I believe John Benedict. I'm not positive about that.
Benedict or Belaton?
No, Benedict. Yeah,
And you said the state engineer, that was Tim Wilson at that time, correct?
correct.
Okay. And prior to that meeting, you didn't know whether there was going to be a recommendation for approval or disapproval, did you?
That is correct. I did not.
You did not.
No, I did not know what the outcome was going to be.
And up to that time, you had not analyzed CSI's subdivision maps that had been sitting in your office before that meeting, correct?
Correct.
And as far as you know, nobody had reviewed those maps.
Correct.
Now, if I ask you the same question, as far as you know, nobody had reviewed the maps. Does your answer change based on your mental distinguishing of physical maps versus electronic?
No.
Or is it the same answer?
It's the same answer.
So up to that point that you had this meeting, no one had reviewed the maps,
That is correct.
whether they be electronic, physical, Mylar, or otherwise.
That is correct.
Okay. And what was your role in the process of recommending a disapproval?
I was the one that came up with the phrasing recommending disapproval. That was about it.
Well, the phrase recommending disapproval has been used by the state engineer's office previously. Agreed?
Many, many, many times.
So you came up with a phrase that had been used many, many, many times?
Correct. I didn't say I invented it. I just said I was the one that recommended using it.
And it was actually Tim Wilson and the other folks in the meeting that made that decision, correct?
Yes,
And that decision had already been made before the meeting, right?
I have no way to know that.
Let's take a look at your transcript again. Page 91, let me know when you're with me.
I'm there.
Page 91, starting with line 6, question, but what?
The decision was made prior to the meeting. The question in the meeting was, how are we going to write the letter?
All right, and that's page 91, line 7, or line 6 through 9 of the transcript. Thank you, sir. And the sole purpose of that meeting was to decide how to write the June 17th, 2020 letter recommendation for disapproval that we just looked at, correct?
That would be correct.
And everyone in that room essentially drafted that letter together, correct?
Correct.
And Tim Wilson had already decided what the recommendation was going to be when you walked into the room that day.
Correct.
And you don't know when he made that decision or what it was based on.
That is correct.
Before walking into that meeting, you had no idea if the decision would be to recommend approval or disapproval.
I did not know that. That is correct.
But you're the subdivision maps guy.
Yes.
What legal theories were announced at the meeting as to why there was going to be a disapproval?
Attorney-client privilege, Your Honor. Attorney-client privilege.
Sustained.
Let's take a look at your transcript then, page 93, Mr. Shell, and let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Page 93, starting with line 15, question. What legal theories were announced at that meeting as to why there was going to be a disapproval?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Is there an objection at the next?
No, there is not.
All right, overruled.
None.
What legal arguments were considered?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Let's take a look at your transcript. Page 93, line 21. Are you with me, Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Question, what legal arguments were considered as far as you know?
None.
No objection again, Your Honor. What factual bases were considered?
None.
What arguments were rejected?
None.
What evidence was discussed?
None.
And at that time, the 575 unit subdivision application was still on hold, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when you drafted the letter, can we pull that up, please? It's 57. When you drafted this letter, you did not know that CSI was permitted to put to beneficial use 4,140 acre feet per year, correct?
That is correct.
You had no idea what CSI's permitted allotment was, right?
That is correct.
And the 2,000 acre feet allotment for the 8 large parcels was not the basis for the decision to recommend disapproval, correct?
Correct.
It had nothing to do with the decision, did it?
No, it did not.
And was the Stetson report discussed at that meeting?
No.
Was the Stetson report even physically there during the meeting?
No.
Physically or electronically?
It probably was electronically.
Maybe on someone's phone or something?
Yeah, something like that, but
It wasn't pulled up and discussed, was it?
no, it was not.
And when you drafted the letter, Exhibit 57, did you look at the spreadsheet that you described earlier relating to CSI's water permits?
No, I did not.
That wasn't a consideration or something that was reviewed in preparing this letter?
That is correct.
And at the time you drafted this letter, you didn't know what the permit situation was with CSI, did you?
That is correct.
And the meeting that you mentioned, you testified at deposition that it was a few days, a couple days, exactly is what you said, a couple days prior to the date of this letter. Is that your recollection?
Yes, that's correct.
Couple meaning two?
That's ambiguous. I'm not really sure. It could be 1, 2, or 3.
It's an ambiguous word, right? Some people say couple is 2, a few is 3, so on. I just want to get your understanding and try to avoid any more ambiguity. Seems that's been an issue with you. Is a couple 2 or a little broader?
Couple is a little broader.
All right. Was that meeting on June 15th of 2020?
I don't recall the exact date.
Can you tell us if it was before or after June 15th?
No, I can't. It was prior to my letter. That's all I know.
All right. At deposition, you testified it was a couple. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. And you were told to recommend disapproval, right?
Correct.
That wasn't a decision that you made on your own.
That is correct.
Are you aware of any, what analysis or technical investigation are you aware of that this letter is based upon?
I was not personally aware of anything at that time.
And this letter states that it's premised upon Order 1309. Do you recall that?
Yes,
And you said you reviewed 1309 in anticipation of your testimony in this trial?
yes.
Okay, you recall the date that Order 1309 was issued?
No, I don't.
It says it in your letter. It's not a quiz. I didn't mean to be difficult. June 15th of 2020. Do you see that?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to disagree?
No, I don't.
Do you know whether or not the meeting that you walked into and you were told that CSI's map applications would be denied or recommend disapproval, was it before or after June 15th?
I'm sure it was after. Yes.
Well, you're sure now. A few minutes ago you weren't. So does that help? Knowing the date that Order 1309 was issued?
Sure.
Is it possible that you had the meeting before Order 1309 was issued?
Is it possible? Yes. Did it happen prior to the issuance of that? I don't know.
But there's a possibility that that meeting occurred prior to June 15th based on your testimony a few minutes ago. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. The determination was made to recommend disapproval prior to the state engineer issuing 1309, right?
It's possible.
And you were told during that meeting to refer to Order 1309 in this letter, right?
Correct.
You just did what you were told when you prepared this.
Correct.
And the decision to recommend disapproval was based on Order 1309, but you don't know why, right?
That's correct.
You were told to say that.
Correct.
And in this letter, you referenced the 2,000 acre feet of water. We spoke about that a few minutes ago. Do you see that on the first page?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And that amount is less than what CSI was permitted for, right?
Yes.
And if it had been more, that would have been one of the reasons to recommend disapproval, right?
That would be one of the reasons, yes.
But that's not one of the reasons stated in this letter. Because the 2,000 was less than what CSI was permitted for, right?
Right.
Okay. And your letter also refers to the lower White River flow system. You see that language?
Yes.
Okay. But at the time you prepared this letter, you didn't know how many basins were included in the lower White River flow system, did you?
No, I did not.
And the only reason you used the phrase lower White River flow system was because it was in Order 1309,
Correct.
not something that you personally had any knowledge of.
Correct.
As far as the pump capacity of 8,000 acre feet that's referenced in your letter, you have no scientific or technical basis for that. That's something that you took from Order 1309, right?
I'm not qualified to answer that question.
You took the number from 1309, correct?
Yes, yes.
Versus something that you had made a determination or review and a
Correct.
conclusion of your own.
Oops, I'm so
It's
talking.
okay.
Sorry.
Are we communicating?
We are. Yes. I agree with that. Okay.
But you don't have the technical expertise or the knowledge as to whether or not that figure is valid.
That is correct.
And that's something you talked about at your deposition.
Yes.
But in the letter, you're telling CSI that because of the 8,000 acre feet cap contained in Order 1309, CSI is not going to be able to use its water.
That's not what the letter says.
Can you turn to page 108 of your deposition, sir? And let me know when you're there.
Yes.
Starting with line 17, we're going to take a look at line 17 through 21, okay? Question, and you're telling CSI are recommending disapproval because 8,000 acre feet for the lower White River flow system means you're not going to be able to use your water. Answer?
Correct.
Okay. And Order 1309 was the basis for the recommended disapproval?
I answered correct.
Thank you. And that's page 108, lines 17 through 24 of the deposition. The letter Exhibit 57 also has a reference to CSI's groundwater permit priorities. Do you see that language?
Oh, yes, there you go. Yes,
You with me?
yes.
Great. Do you have any, at the time you prepared this letter, did you have any personal knowledge about the groundwater permit priority dates held by CSI?
No,
That's information that was given to you
yes,
by somebody within the state engineer's office?
yes. You can look up the priority dates yourself. They're still there.
You didn't actually see any of the studies though, right?
The studies, no.
And the study referenced in your letter, that was only briefly explained to you in that meeting that you had a few days before this letter was drafted.
That is correct.
And that's because the recommended disapproval had already been decided before you walked into the room that day.
That is correct.
Okay. And you don't personally know where CSI's water rights are in terms of the list of the priorities.
That's correct.
And you didn't at that time
No, I did
when
not.
this letter was prepared.
That's correct.
And at the time you prepared this letter, you didn't personally know whether CSI had any water rights above or below that 8,000 acre feet threshold referenced in your letter, did you?
That is correct.
And at the time you prepared this letter, you had no idea what, if anything, was looked at to determine where CSI fell on the list of priorities as it relates to the 8,000 acre feet cap referenced in this letter, did you?
I had no knowledge.
It was given to you.
Yes,
And although you're not sure what analysis was done or who conducted it, that analysis was the basis for you to write in this letter that CSI's groundwater permits have priority dates which exceeded the threshold of 8,000 acre feet.
yes.
Okay. By how much did CSI's groundwater permits exceed that 8,000 acre feet threshold?
I do not know.
Don't even know today.
Not at all.
Didn't know at the time of your deposition
No,
and didn't know at the time you prepared this letter.
that's correct.
Didn't know at the time you walked into that meeting.
That's correct.
Didn't know when the maps were received by you in August 2018.
Correct.
And from that point of August 2018 through today, you never knew.
Correct.
And you included the language about the 8,000 acre feet in your letter because that's something you were told to put in there, right?
Correct.
And you don't know who told you to do that?
Not specifically, no.
CSI was the only developer trying to get approval to develop a subdivision using the water covered by that 8,000 acre feet cap. Agreed?
Agreed.
There's no other subdivision maps within the lower White River flow system at this time.
That's too broad a statement. I don't know the answer to that.
We'll come back to it, fair. Let's take a look at page 117. We're going to start at line 8, sir.
Okay.
Lines 8 through 18. Question, but with regard to subdivision applications that would be utilizing the same groundwater that would be covered by this 8,000 cap, you've approved those, haven't you? Answer.
I don't believe we've had any.
Question, so CSI is the only developer trying to get water to develop a subdivision? Answer.
Yes.
Okay, has anybody else been denied a subdivision map in what we call the mega basin? Answer.
No.
For the record, that's page 117, lines 8 through 18. Thank you, sir.
19 and 20.
Thank you. Question, we're the only ones?
Answer, yes.
Okay, so 117 lines 8 through 20 was actually what we got in there. Thank you, Mr. Schill. Large parcel maps don't require water, correct?
Correct.
But regardless, you recommended disapproval of CSI's large parcel map because they were not going to remain large parcels. Is that the reason?
That is correct.
And the recommended disapproval was based on available water?
It was based on the fact that there might not be available water.
So you recommended disapproval of CSI's large parcel map, even though it did not require any water?
Correct.
Your Honor, can I have a few minutes to consult with my team? I may be done or close to it.
Right, let's reconvene at 25 to 4.
Thank you. All right.
Go for it. Just making sure. Thanks.
Looks like we're taking an extra break, folks. Once again, thank you for tuning in to W4Nevada Live's continuing Day 15 coverage of Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada and $1.5 billion takings claim. My name is Matthew Winterhawk, and you are currently watching W4Nevada Live, and we will be right back.
Nevada. Can we talk for a minute? Not politics, not noise, just home. W4Nevada live. Nevadans talking to Nevadans. I heard a mother down in Clark say something ain't right at the school today. I heard a washer say the water's thin, and nobody tells us where the money went. Out and now they've been raising their hands, asking who keeps selling off the land. Stories watching all those power lines, wondering who pays when the bill comes due this time. We don't need a polished speech, we just need a place to speak. Bring your heart, bring your name, bring the paper with the date. Can we talk Nevada? Can we tell the truth tonight? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, this is us. Real voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Carson City, I can hear you too. Churchill's got a story coming through. Douglas knows what pressure feels like. Elko's still working under big sky nights. Esmeralda, don't you disappear. Eureka, your voice belongs right here. Humboldt, Lincoln Line, every small town still gotta shine. Lion, Mineral, Persian too. White Pine, we ain't forgetting you. 17 counties, one lone road. Everybody carrying a different load. If it's water, let's talk about it. If it's school, let's talk about it. If it's budgets, let's talk about it. If it's buried, bring it out. If it's power, let's talk about it. If it's land, let's talk about it. If it's public, don't hide it. Nevada, we're done being quiet. Can we talk Nevada? Can we tell the truth tonight? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, this is us. Real voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Say what you heard, say what you know, say what they try to keep down low. Bring that email, bring that file, bring that agenda they buried a while. Bring that picture, bring that name, bring that question they tried to shame. Rumors are leads, receipts are proof, and we follow the trail till we find the truth. Cause they found it. We can talk, Washoe County. We can talk, Lily County. We can talk, Narrow County. We can talk, Hudson City. We can talk, Sutton County. We can talk, Douglas County. We can talk, Lyon County. We can talk, Story County. We can talk, Humboldt County. We can talk, Rica County. We can talk, Rica County. We can talk, Esmeralda County. One Nevada dream. Can we talk Nevada? Can we tell the truth tonight? From the valleys to the mountains, bring what's hidden to the light. Call it in, text it in, let your county say its name. 17 voices singing, but the heartbeat is the same. Can we talk Nevada? This is home, voices, real receipts, real follow through, real trust. Nevada, pick up the phone. This is your county, this is your home. W4Nevada live. Nevadans, talk to Nevadans. Real voices. Real receipts. Real voices.
Hey, way out in the land of the setting sun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Where the wind's still wild and free, still free. There's a place that don't need permission to feel like home to me. Oh, follow roads where the dust remember names, names, names. Where the desert meets the hills. You'll feel it in your chest when you stand still. This land give 1,000 chills. Let it breathe. Home is an area. Yeah, it do. Home is the hill. Stand tall. Home means the sage and the pine of it. All of it out by the Truckee. Silver, silver, silvery rills. Shine on. Out where the sun still shining. Always shine. Always. This is the land I love the best. Fairer than all I can see. Deep in the heart of the Golden West. Homie's Nevada to me. When the sun goes low at the close of day. Golden hour. Paint the whole west sky red. So red. My heart drifts back to the desert gray. And the mountains over my head. Over me. Moonlight dance in the shadow plan. Soft, soft. Hear the night breeze slow. Place I know home is Nevada. Yeah, it do. Home is a hill. Stand tall. Home is the sage and the pine of it. All our weather by the Truckee. Silver, silver, silvery rills. Shine on. Out where the sun still shining. Always shine. Always. This is the land I love the best. No debate. Fairer than all I can see. Right in the heart of the Golden West. Yeah. ancestry. This ain't a place you copy paste. You gotta earn the way it shaped you.
Another time, sir, during the
Home is the Nevada. Say it loud. Home is the hills, no fear. Home is the sage and the pine ivy.
Yes.
Roots deep down by the Truckee.
Yes.
never give you the opportunity to give that context, or at least explain what you understood to be the context. Would you agree?
I would agree.
What I'd like to do for a little while, what time we have left today, is to give the court a little context to who you are and how you came to be here and how you had to endure the examination that you had. Let's go back in time and give the court some idea of your educational background and then how you progressed through the Nevada Department of Water Resources. Okay?
Okay.
Where do you reside?
Excuse me?
Where do you reside, sir?
In Carson City, Nevada.
How long have you resided in Carson City, Nevada?
45 years.
You don't hail from Carson City. Where did you come from? How did you find your way to Carson City?
I was born in Joplin, Missouri. My parents divorced. We moved to Arizona, California, Oregon, back to Arizona. I found my wife. We got married, moved to California, and then moved to Nevada.
And what year was that you recall you moved to Nevada?
Would have been 1978.
Tell the court a little bit about your educational background.
I have a degree in. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I graduated from high school in Tucson, Arizona. I went to WNCC and UNR and the University of Arizona even for a short time. But I graduated from Pittsburgh State and Pittsburgh, Kansas. Pittsburgh State without an H.
Pittsburgh State without an H. Did you receive a degree?
Yes, I have a degree in mechanical engineering.
And what year did you receive your degree in mechanical engineering?
1991.
Did you have any further education beyond your bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering?
No.
And tell the court what your first employment was as a mechanical engineer.
I worked for a company called Peabody Tech Tank, which made tanks, but they're more common vernacular. They're called silos.
Military tanks.
No. Grain silos. Sorry.
Were you designing the grain silos using your mechanical engineering degree?
In that case, yes.
And how long were you employed designing grain silos?
1 year.
Where did you go next?
I left and went to, I think this, have to think about that. I think that's when I went to Cubics Corporation in Carson City.
Okay. And what was Cubics Corporation?
Cubics Corporation is a company that makes servers, computer servers.
You engineering the housing for those servings?
Yes, I was.
And how long did you work at that company?
8 years.
It takes up to what year, roughly?
That would be 90 to about 2000, somewhere around there.
Is that a couple of years or a few years of when you actually, I'll withdraw that question. Where were you employed next?
After Cubics?
Yes, sir.
I went to a company that did SBA, small business administration loans. They went defunct. I went to a company that was actually a construction company and worked there for a short time. And then I ended up at Division of Water Resources.
And what year did you start?
January 2nd of 2006.
And what was your first position with Nevada Division of Water Resources?
Truckee River mapping.
What does a trucker river mapping job do?
Maps Truckee River. It actually what it does is mapping the decreed locations of water off the Truckee River.
What is it decreed? Right.
It's
if you know.
No, I'm thinking of the word. Just decree Truckee River. There's a name for it, and I can't remember the name. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, there's a federal decree that designates where the water originated from historically.
And what was your mapping job or responsibility? What did you do?
Specifically to map those areas that were as they were assigned in the decree.
Like a longitude, latitude type mapping?
Physical mapping, like you would find on Google Maps.
Did you have a title when you were first employed?
Yes. forgot what they call those, but I was a something one.
Mapping one, we'll call it.
Mapping one, yeah, it's not real important, to be honest with you.
Were you using your mechanical engineer degree?
No,
And how long did you serve in the capacity as mapping one?
approximately 4 years
And you promoted from that position?
to, at that time, we called it basin engineer one.
What did a basin engineer one do?
Their control of, they monitor the health of basins across the state.
What does that mean?
It means they process applications and
And when you say process applications, you mean applications for permits for water?
correct,
Is that groundwater or surface water or both?
both.
And what year was that, sir?
That would have been approximately 2010,
And how long were you employed in that capacity?
about 4 years.
Just going back to the, what you did as is it basin engineer one, is that what you said? Did you have any training or knowledge with respect to water rights or applications of water rights before you began that position, sir?
No,
And did you learn it as you went?
yes. The first day I was there, they told me you cannot go to school to learn this stuff. The only way to learn this stuff is to do it.
Sorry, you were a hydrologist?
No,
You ever pursued a hydrology degree?
no,
You ever performed any hydrology services?
no,
Are you a geologist?
no,
Same question. Ever performed any geology services?
no,
And did you, as you were learning as you went, after you did your homework, did you understand what the application process required?
yes,
Did you use your knowledge from reviewing the statutory scheme and then learning as you went, what the criteria that you had to employ to grant or deny an application?
correct.
And can you just tell the court briefly what you understood those criteria to be at the time?
Criteria is there water available at the source? And if there is it, do the people that want the water actually own the land and the point of diversion or have legal access to it? That sort of thing.
Okay, and how would you confirm those facts?
Various means, ownership primarily through Secretary of State's office.
That's the ownership aspect of it?
Yes,
And would you have to make a determination as to, you said available water, would you also have to make a determination as to whether it conflicted with existing rights?
yes,
When I say existing rights, do you understand what that means, sir?
yes.
What would that be?
Somebody with a prior appropriation.
Are you familiar with the prior appropriation doctrine?
Yes, I am.
Did you learn that through your education and training?
Yes.
And just tell the court briefly what you understand the prior appropriation doctrine to be.
First in time, first and right on the source.
What does that mean on the source?
That means where the water is coming from. If it's underground, that's underground. If it's coming from a stream, it's from the stream.
And when you were looking at that from a prior appropriation doctrine to determine whether it would conflict with existing rights, were you limited to the basin lying on the map, or would you consider the effect on adjacent basins?
You would consider the effect on everything that's nearby. If that happens,
I don't know.
if that happens across basin boundaries, then you consider other basins.
And then how long were you a basin manager one?
Yes, about 4 years.
You are a basin manager one. Are you assigned specific basins?
Yes.
Did you recall what basins you were assigned to when you were a basin manager one?
The central part of the state, I call it the Highway 80 corridor.
Just orient the court where that might be those basins.
Literally in the center of the state. If you go across Highway 80 and, for instance, Granite Springs Valley is one of those.
How many basins were you assigned, if you can recall, initially when you became the basin one manager?
I'm guessing about 6.
As a basin manager one, have you ever had the occasion to know and understand that more than one basin, one or more basins may share the same source of water?
Yes.
Have you ever seen it where one or more basins share the same perennial yield?
Yes,
On how many occasions, off the top of your head, if you can recall, you would have understood or learned that one or more basins share the same perennial yield?
there's about 3 areas in the state that I can think of. Thousand Springs has 4 subbasins, for instance.
Any other ones you can think of?
There are. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know
Well, if they
there's.
pop into your head, blurt it out.
I will do that.
And when you're a basin manager, when you're managing basins that share the same perennial yield, do you still apply the prior appropriation doctrine as you described it?
Yes,
Even though those basins that share the perennial yield may be actually different basins?
yes,
And so you were employed as a Basin 1 engineer
engineer.
For 4 years,
Yes,
and then were you promoted
yes.
to what position?
What became Water Resource Specialist 2? They took the engineer out of our name.
Is that because you're not an engineer?
That's correct. I'm not a licensed engineer.
You're a mechanical engineer.
Yes,
You're not a professional engineer.
that's the licensing part.
And so what were your duties and responsibilities as a Basin 2 specialist? Is that what it was?
Water Resource Specialist. It's actually the same as a Water Resource Specialist 1, except that you get the more difficult basins to manage.
In what sense?
More work, more people there, more stuff to do. And typically you get more basins too. I think at the end, I had 8 or 10.
Different basins?
Yeah,
I asked you if you were you're not a hydrologist, right?
that's correct.
When you were managing basins, either before you became promoted and then after you became promoted, would you have to know and try to understand the hydrology of the basins?
Only in very basic terms.
And what do you mean?
The water flowing in and out of the basin from other basins.
If you had a question in connection with your duties and responsibilities with respect to the hydrology of the basin or basins, what would you do?
I would send it to the hydrology department.
Was there a separate department within?
Within DWR, yes.
Okay.
That is their job, to determine the hydrology of a particular permit.
Because you're not qualified?
I am not qualified.
Was that a frequent occasion when you were managing basins that you had to seek the advice, if you will, or information from the hydrology department?
Yes,
Remember who the hydrologist was, at least initially, when you became a specialist?
I don't remember specifically. I know that Adam Sullivan, John Benedict, there's been any number of, there's another guy that he was actually, Rick Belling was, I think he was actually the one that was lead hydrologist when I first became the basin engineer.
You had mentioned on cross-examination, direct examination, whatever it was, the name John Benedict.
Yes,
Who was Mr. Benedict, to your knowledge?
he's a hydrologist.
So was he and Adam Sullivan, to the best of your recollection, both in the hydrology department?
Yes, I can't tell you how many people were employed as hydrologists at one time or still are, but it's, like 3.
If it were your basin, would you know and understand the existing permitted rights within that basin?
Yes,
And how would you look at that? Just as you indicated on direct examination, just to go to the website and look at the permits that were issued in that particular basin?
yes, you can do that yourself at home.
Is that something that you would do when you're trying to manage the basins?
That is something you would do every time.
Would you say every time you were managing a basin?
Well, every time you were investigating a permit.
And when you investigate a permit, what are you investigating from a basin management perspective?
Goes back to prior appropriation, who has water ahead of you, how close are they? For instance, you don't want 2 wells side by side because the the new well is going to draw water from the old well, that sort of thing.
How would you determine, if you're not a hydrologist, whether or not pumping of existing rights impacted other rights in the system or on the source?
You would ask the hydrology department.
Because you wouldn't be qualified to make that determination?
That's correct.
Could you guess?
Excuse me?
Could you just guess?
Oh, I'm sure I could guess.
Wouldn't be affected though, would it, sir?
No, my guess is meaningless.
Were the basins that you managed, were they hydrologically complex to your knowledge?
But basins that I manage, all basins are somewhat complex. Nothing is set in stone. You can't say that this basin acts this way all the time.
And is it just because they're underground and you can't see the geology?
True.
All right, and so you continued in your same role. I think I understand your examination or your answers on direct examination. At some point, you became also responsible for reviewing subdivision maps.
Every basin engineer has a secondary job. Various sorts. It could be extensions of time or something like that. My particular specialty was subdivisions.
And when did you begin to be assigned that secondary responsibility of reviewing subdivision?
Almost immediately.
And what year is that? You recall?
That would be, let's go back 6, 10, 14, about 2014.
Right. And you did that subdivision review for a period of, well, until you left in 2020.
2026.
2026. Okay, so 12 years if my math is correct. And how did you learn how to process subdivision maps when you first started that secondary responsibility?
We don't get a lot of help, so we just read a lot.
And you talked a little bit about on direct examination, the process that you employed with respect to the subdivision map, right?
Correct.
Did you have a guideline that you followed, sir?
Yes.
Did you prepare a guideline?
I prepared one myself, yes. Primarily based on the existing one, but.
Okay. Let me, Lindsay, bring up 3865, please. Can you identify this document, sir?
Excuse me?
Can you identify the document?
Yes, that's a subdivision review checklist. Yes.
And did you prepare this?
Yes.
Okay. I would offer stage proposed exhibit 3865.
No objection.
Okay. Let's just look through what this subdivision map process is, at least from your perspective, and then it'll sort of help us through the balance of the examination, which likely won't end today, sir. Putting that out there for you now to think about.
Okay.
Subdivision review, let's walk the court through, if you would, the steps that you would employ in a subdivision review.
You could literally follow this step by step. Not necessarily everything is pertinent to a particular situation, but if you go through here step by step, you can process your own subdivision.
Well, let's educate the court, so maybe he can do that in retirement.
Nobody wants to do that in their retirement. First thing is agent really just means who are you dealing with in the subdivision? Who's your point of contact? Firm being the same thing, phone number, that's pretty obvious. We want to make sure that yes, you actually get a map and that the fees are paid for it. $180 plus $1 a lot for tentative.
Okay.
$120 flat for final map. Number of lots, pretty obvious, common areas right away. You can fill all this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's more pertinent than others. Depends on the particular subdivision that you're talking about. For instance, the Truckee Meadows Water Authority uses a calculated method for determining how much water each lot gets. Therefore, like acres become important. In other cases, it's a flat rate like 1.12 acre feet per lot, so it doesn't matter what size the lots are. Enter subdivision name and information into the database. That goes back to the spreadsheets. Making sure that, well, we also keep track of all of the subdivisions just in a general ledger.
Okay.
APNs are, you know, where's it at? Again, there goes the ownership. Look at parcel map. Parcel maps may or may not be needed. Google map may, I usually use a Google map just so you know where it is in space. This is all stuff that I end up presenting to whoever's going to sign the map. And these are things that, since they look at it pretty cold, I'm supposed to do all the groundwork for them. So that's why we do all of this stuff. Will serve is, we talked about the will serve. Will serve is very important. You got to have a purveyor, and a purveyor's got to have some water.
Okay, let's stop right there just for a moment. You said it's pretty important. You talked to council about it on direct. Why is it important, at least from your review? And by the way, this is a tentative map review, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it important for your review of a tentative subdivision map to have a will serve from the purveyor?
It is not important at all.
Okay.
You don't need one for a tentative map. What we will do is, in the letter that we respond with, we will tell them that we will sign the final map if you give us a will serve.
Okay.
But you don't need one for a tentative.
Can you typically even get a will serve with a tentative map?
I have occasionally. It's actually fairly rare.
To have it with the tentative?
Yeah.
Okay. But then I think you said that before you could get a final map, if I understand it, is you would have to have a will serve.
Correct.
And why is that necessary in connection with a subdivision with respect to the residents within the subdivision, that there is a commitment by the purveyor that they're going to provide water?
That is correct.
Why is it important?
Because if you want to take a shower in the morning, you need to have water.
And have you ever
Coffee.
seen?
Coffee is very important.
Is it fair to say, sir, that every time that you've seen a final map, subdivision map approved, it comes with a commitment from the purveyor of water?
Yes. We will not sign the map without it.
No exception.
No exceptions.
What is the purpose of a tentative subdivision map review?
The tentative subdivision maps are sent out not just to us, but everybody involved in the development of a subdivision. And it's basically our opportunity to give our input on what's necessary for us to agree to sign the map.
Sign the final map.
Sign the final map, yes.
Is it fair to characterize it as providing information to the developer that he can use to get to essentially yes on a final map?
Correct.
And when you do a tentative subdivision map review, would you issue that with any accompanying conditions that need to be satisfied before the state engineer will sign off on a final map?
Correct.
Is it designed to assist the developer in getting to yes?
Correct. It's also necessary for this all generally goes through a planning department, mostly county, sometimes city, but whatever. It tells them what they need to look out for as well.
Okay. Does it also go to the water purveyor?
Yes. Assuming there is one. If you don't send us a will serve, we may not know who the water purveyor is.
Then you can't, well, you're still gonna have to require it though, right?
Yes.
Okay. You ever provided any PowerPoint presentations or speaking engagement with respect to the requirements of a will serve and the subdivision map review process?
I did a training video for the division, yes.
When did you do that?
4 or 5 years ago. It's not really that long.
Did you discuss in that video or that training video the need and necessity of a will serve?
Yes.
And how did you explain it? Do you recall?
I don't recall specifically, but I would say the same thing that I'm saying right now.
And so we hadn't quite finished, but we could probably short circuit a little bit. It says, write tentative letter is there a will serve or intent to serve? If yes, probably recommend tentative approval. If no, normally recommend disapproval.
Correct.
And that's again, if you don't have it, then you might not get your approval or a conditional approval.
That's correct.
And it says recommend. Is it you don't sign the tentative map? Like they don't give you a map and then you sign it.
Sometimes they do, yes.
Okay. But if all of the conditions are satisfied, then theoretically it can be signed.
Yes.
Okay. So if they send you a final map and it comports with all the requirements that you understand must exist, they wouldn't necessarily have to go through the tentative map review. You can sign it with a state engineer, right?
That is correct.
And by the way, do you sign a final maps?
I have never signed the final map, not one.
Are you authorized to sign final maps when you were
No.
employed? Pardon me?
No.
When you did a tentative map review, could you just send it out without the review of the state engineer?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Would you ask the state engineer to review it or somebody beneath the state engineer to review it before you send it out?
For a tentative map, unless there was a special reason to, the answer would be no.
Okay. When you say special reason to, what would that mean? in your mind?
If there was, for lack of a better word, if there were some issues with it
Okay.
that required somebody else to look at it.
Okay.
For instance, a hydrological aspect of it. We might send it to the hydrology department or something
If
else.
you had some belief or understanding that there was hydrologic issues associated with the map, tentative and final, you might kick that upstairs to hydrology.
Correct. In fact, I can tell you one. There's a subdivision west of here, I'm sorry, that uses springs as their source of water. We don't normally let people use springs because springs are not guaranteed to have water all the time. However, we went to the hydrology department and they determined that due to the fact that there were not very many houses on it and the springs have been very healthy for many years, we ended up granting it.
But you would have to have that direction from hydrology.
Correct.
That would be an example of something that wasn't ordinary.
Yeah.
Lindsay, can I have state's proposed exhibit 3379, please? You indicated that the last tentative subdivision map review process you prepared. Do you recognize 3379, sir?
Yes.
November 6, 2000 and November 8, 2006.
Yes.
And tell the court what it is, please.
Excuse me?
Tell the court what it is.
It's a same thing. It's a checklist for reviewing subdivisions.
Was this a checklist that you used when you first began and then continued to review subdivision maps?
At the beginning, yes.
And when you say at the beginning, until what time period do you recall?
Until I wrote the next checklist, which I updated it into what I think we needed at the time.
That offers state's proposed 3379 yard.
Can we zoom out so I can see the base number? No objection.
He said no objection.
Admitted.
Thank you. Looks like it has some of the same information. And it also, you can see at 10I, there's also the requirement that the will serve, intent to serve, what we just talked about a little bit ago, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Same thing, if normally recommend, if yes, probably recommend tentative approval. Okay. I think you said on direct examination, it's typically speaking a fairly ministerial process to review and approve a tentative map. Did you say that generally?
Generally, yes.
And I think you said that, my words, if you had a commitment from a water purveyor and you knew the number of units, you could just simply compare the number of units to what was committed and then that they matched, assuming no other problems, you can go ahead and approve it.
Correct.
You have heard the term in service or out of service?
Yes.
And explain to the court what that means.
Every purveyor has a service area. that does not necessarily mean that they can actually serve water within that service area. Sometimes they annex land ahead of time in preparation for planned developments that might occur in the future. That's one of the questions that I always ask them, or ask whoever's talking to me. It is, ask the purveyor if they intend to serve. That's not a will serve or an intent. We're asking, do they have any plans to run a pipeline out there so that they can serve you? And if the answer is no, even if it's in the service area, then, for instance, we let them drill a well.
But if it's in the service area and you have a water purveyor that says we're going to provide it, then you just simply match the number of units intended to be constructed with what the commitment is.
Correct.
That's ordinary.
Ordinary course of business, yes.
If you're in a service area.
If you're in a service area.
So what if you're not in a service area? Is it a difficult or a different process?
Yes, you're going to have to provide. That's a lot more work. You have to provide all the infrastructure and everything else to make sure that it's going to have water.
Okay. That may take a little longer
It may take a very long time.
Are you familiar with the Nevada revised statutes with respect to the water necessary for a subdivision?
Yes.
And what is that generally, sir?
I'm not sure quite what you're asking.
Is there a statutory provision that requires that a certain amount of water be dedicated for the reasonable life of the subdivision?
No.
Do you have some understanding that there must be some commitment to support that subdivision for a period of time?
Yes. It's generally an agreement between us, the purveyor, and the developer gets a little bit of say in it, but not much.
But you want to make it so that folks have water to take a hot shower, at least as long as that subdivision exists.
And make coffee and
Okay.
everything, wash their hands.
Now, final maps. So the tentative map is a review, essentially, to provide the conditions to the developer so you can get to a final map.
Correct.
If the tentative map is sent out, reviewed, and then you as the subdivision person in charge of subdivisions sends it out and the conditions are satisfied, would you then forward that final map on to the state engineer?
Yes.
If the conditions are not satisfied, would you forward that final map on to the state engineer for review and signature?
No.
So if there was a tentative map approval that was conditional and the conditions weren't met, what would the state engineer have to do with reviewing a final map, if anything, if you know?
The state engineer would probably never see it. It would never get that far. That's part of what my job was, is to coordinate between myself and the developer.
Okay. And so theoretically, if you weren't satisfied that the conditions in the tentative approval were satisfied or met, would you forward that along to the state engineer for approval?
Typically, no, not unless it's all case by case basis. You never know. It depends on what the issue is.
Water.
What
if the issue is water?
If the issue is water, then no real reason to go any farther. That's our only job in life, is this guarantee that water comes out of the faucet.
Who's your boss? Well, who was your boss? Not now.
Well, in reference to this, it was Mark Sabazlian.
And when you say in reference to this, you mean in reference to what you've been subjected to in this trial?
Yes.
Okay. And what was his position, if you recall, sir?
I think he was called water rights manager.
Okay.
He was like everybody else. That was not his sole job. He had other things to do as well.
Was he in the hydrology department?
No.
What position did he hold?
He was water rights manager.
Okay.
He was in charge of various basin engineers.
Let's talk about Coyote Springs. I'm going to call it CSI. Okay, but let's talk about first how it is that you first became familiar with CSI and the facts that bring you here today. Do you recall what brought you to review the subdivision maps for CSI?
I was informed, and again, I don't remember who it was specifically, but somebody informed me that the maps were about to arrive and that we weren't going to process them in a normal manner.
And you don't recall who told you that, right?
No.
But do you recall the calendar year? Was that in the 2018 time period?
Yes, it would have been.
Now, this map was not from the basin to which you were assigned. Is that true?
That is correct.
Did you ever have any involvement in Basin 210?
No.
Are you familiar with what's known as the Lower White River Flow System?
Yes.
Did you have any involvement, education, or training with respect to what the Lower White River Flow System is or was at the time you were asked to review the map?
The answer would be no.
Did you have any idea what the source of water for Basin 210 was, or any of the other basins that were combined?
No.
When you first had a chance to look at at some point, the subdivision map is given to you, right?
Correct.
You anticipated that it was coming, somebody
Yes.
told you it was coming, and then it came to you.
Yes.
When you first got that subdivision map, did you investigate the Lower White River Flow System or the source of water for Basin 210?
I did not know.
Did you investigate the terms and conditions of the permitted water rights existing within Basin 210?
No, I did not.
Have you heard of what's known as ruling 4542 that gave rise to the permitted rights for CSI?
I'm familiar with it now. At the time,
At the time,
no.
did you do any investigation as to the terms and conditions of the permitted water when you were asked to review the subdivision map?
That is correct.
That was a bad question. Did you look at when you were?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. The answer is no.
At the time you were first looking at the subdivision map, were you coordinated at that point in time with the hydrology department initially?
Myself, no.
Had you at that time heard of something known as 1169?
At that time, no.
Did there come a time when you learned of 1169?
Later on, yes, but not then at all.
When you say later on, I'm trying to orient you in time. The maps come in 2018. We talked about that. And at some point on the continuum, you become aware of that something known as 1169.
Yes.
Was it before or after you were first assigned to review the subdivision maps?
After.
Okay. And do you know how you first became aware of 1169, sir?
I think it just came out on an email blast.
Okay. In connection with the pending subdivision map, or do you know?
No, just generally.
Okay. So generally, as being in the Nevada Department of Division of Water Resources, you became generally familiar with the order itself.
Correct.
Did you do any investigation as to 1169, its purpose, intent, or the results?
No, that was not anything I needed to do.
Was it germane to your subdivision
It
review?
was not germane at all.
Did you come to learn prior to the time, or even after the time that you were doing the subdivision review, that there was a pump test that took place roughly the 2010, 2012 time period?
I was not aware of it.
Did you come to understand, sir, that after the pump test was finished, that various stakeholders had the opportunity to submit their position and their analysis of the scientific evidence with respect to the results of that pump test?
I was not aware of it, no.
Didn't review any of those analyses or tests or studies? And then after 2012, there were two orders that were issued, well, or more than two, but orders are ruling 6254 and 6255. Have you ever heard of those numbers before?
Yes.
Did you review those orders and rulings in connection with your review of the subdivision maps?
No.
Did you have any idea what the science was with respect to the hydrology of the Lower White River flow system as reflected in those two rulings?
No,
Wasn't germane to your analysis?
no,
Some things we say are above our pay grade.
that would be that one of
One
them.
of them?
Yes,
You heard the phrase,
Yes,
stay in your lane?
yes.
Would
I'm
your lane
I'm
rock?
good at that.
I'm less good. Would your, would it be fair to say that understanding and determining the hydrology, the interconnectivity, if any, of the lower White River flow system was above your pay grade,
Correct,
outside of your lane?
correct. Don't turn.
And so you get these maps, it's not your basin, didn't review the permits, don't know and understand 1169, its results, didn't read or understand 4542 or either one of those two orders and rulings.
Correct.
Okay. What do you do next? Now you have these subdivision maps. And what are you initially advised?
To wait until they make up their mind whether they want, what they want to do with them.
When you say they, whom do you mean?
The state engineer.
Okay. Did you understand that the hydrology department was involved in that analysis?
I understood that most of the division was, yes.
Okay.
Those who are qualified to do so.
Okay. Did you have some understanding that there were issues not just limited to CSI, but other stakeholders in that same lower White River flow system?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you form some understanding that there was a significant concern by all of the stakeholders with respect to the source and availability of water?
Yes,
So you get these maps, you stick them in a box.
yes,
But first you do the subdivision review.
Objection Vegas time, just because there's various maps, we can get foundation on that. That's
Fair point.
sole objection.
Fair point. We're in 2018?
say it again.
2018. That's when I think you first
Correct.
testified that you were assigned the subdivision maps for review, and those subdivision maps being CSIs. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. And as I understood your testimony, sir, and correct me if I got it wrong. You received those tentative maps, and I think you said, if I have your testimony correctly, that there was a meeting or discussion among various individuals.
Correct.
Correct me if I had this right. That would have included, to best your recollection, city engineer
Yes,
and Mark Savagian.
yes,
Was Micheline there as well? Micheline
Yes.
Fairbanks? You recall if Mr. Benedict was?
I believe he was the other one,
Mr. Adam Sullivan?
Adam Sullivan.
Roundtable discussion?
Yes, in the state engineer's office.
I want to bring back up State Submitted Exhibit 3608, please. And this is a document is from Tracy Getter. Who is Tracy Getter? Was?
I think she was a Southern Nevada gal.
I think he was Southern Nevada. But it's copied to you, right?
Yes,
And it's copied to Mark Savagian, Adam Sullivan, and Jason King. And at that point in time, Mr. King is the state engineer.
yes,
And it says, Lindsay, if we can make that screen a little bigger and just highlight there you go. Looks like there's a letter from Tracy. It says, as requested by Jason King, and it's directed to you, right? I'm
Yes.
sending you tentative maps for the following subdivisions. And then there's those two reference, both Coyote Springs,
yes,
RJ lot, and the Village A. It says, please note, subdivisions have not been entered into the database, only in our receipt book. Is that your job to put them in the database?
yes, that's part of the processing of the whole thing.
So Jason is sending this to you, and it says also there is a copy of the final map for review number 13216. Las Vegas Valley Water District has not issued valid will serve letters for the final maps. The attached PDFs were emailed to me last week. As soon as I receive a scanned copy of the letters regarding the subdivisions listed above, I will forward the email to you. So from time to time, you would get PDFs
Correct.
of documents? And then with that, then once a PDF was sent to the to you or to the division, would they become essentially available on the network, I think is what you said?
The internal network, those wouldn't necessarily go to the outside network, but nothing that I ever got was not available to everybody in the division.
Okay. And this is dated 8/27/2018. I want to back up a little bit. The council talked to you a little bit about this May 16th, 2018 letter from Jason King. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And did you have any part in drafting that letter?
No, I didn't see it till after it was sent.
Okay. That letter itself, I'm happy to show it to you, it was actually responding to a correspondence in November from the Las Vegas Valley Water District. You understand that now?
Really quickly, Your Honor, just for the record, I didn't reference the May 16th letter in my examination, Mr. Shell. I didn't show it to him. It didn't come up. And so I just want to make that clear in the record. I object to that foundation. It's a misstatement.
You recall talking about it in your deposition?
Yes.
I thought he read that portion. I thought he read all of your deposition, but at least that portion. And my apologies if I got it wrong.
I'm on the side on this one. I don't think he asked that question.
You know what? You're a truth teller. That's
Exactly.
Okay, but you were aware of that letter?
Yes.
All right. Did you understand that it was a response to a letter from Las Vegas Valley Water District?
Yes.
Did you know, sir, that after that letter was filed or sent, I should say, that CSI sued the city engineer or took a petition for?
At the time, I was unaware of that.
At the time that you were reviewing these subdivision maps, you were aware of it?
That's correct.
Did you first become aware of it during your deposition?
Very likely.
Hadn't seen it before?
No.
Nobody discussed it with you?
No.
Outside of your pay grade?
Outside of my pay grade.
Okay. But you learned that they sued, but that wasn't some facts or information that was provided to you for your review and understanding before there was a response on the tentative maps?
That would be correct.
And you've never seen the petition for judicial review or the facts or allegations contained in that petition by CSI?
That is correct.
And then counsel showed you the settlement agreement. I think your I'm sure he said in this direct examination, he showed you the settlement agreement. And you said, I had never seen it. At least during the time you did it.
At that time, yeah.
And do you recall when the first time you saw that settlement agreement was?
No, but I'm assuming it was during the deposition.
And to counsel's point, nobody discussed with you the fact that there was either a PJR or a settlement agreement?
That's correct.
What are you doing at this point as it relates to reviewing the tentative maps for the purpose of preparing a tentative map approval or a conditional approval?
For these particular maps?
Yes.
Nothing.
And were you doing nothing because it was taken from you, essentially, removed from your purview?
We were waiting other information before we'd continue on with them, and that's not something I was party to.
I think in your unfortunate deposition, Council read, you understood that the state engineer was concerned about water availability.
Correct.
But they didn't share with you that there was a PGR or a settlement agreement or the term of that agreement?
They did not share anything with me.
Is that something you would have needed to know?
No, not at that time. In fact, quite frankly, I would never need to know that if the state engineer is the ones that's going to make that ultimate determination, not me.
Fair to say you're just waiting for further direction?
Yes.
Do you have any other responsibilities with respect to reviewing the tentative or final map at that point?
No.
So the settlement agreement was entered into, I think, in the August 28th time period. And then if we can have states 3611, please, admitted. And time and again during the deposition, and again today, there was my word, criticism of you with respect to the idea that these maps just sat in the box. Remember that sort of line of questioning?
Yes.
And that you testified that nobody looked at the maps because they just sat in my box for 2 years and maybe still there today.
That's correct.
And that was true, right?
That's still correct, yes.
The Mylar final map was in your office in a box.
In a literal box.
But it's also true, sir, though, that the state engineer, or at least somebody at his direction, reviewed those maps and issued a recommendation for conditional approval.
Objection, lack of foundation.
Sustained.
Sure. Let me show you, sir, that exhibit, and it is what you looked at on direct examination, at least in part. If we can have the first page of that, please. This is the letter September 7th, 2018. And just, if you can, give me the first half of that, Lindsay, please. And it says regarding tentative subdivision review, right? As the large lot, Coyote Springs Village A, is that one of the maps that were submitted for your review and approval?
Correct.
Okay. Is this one of is this referencing one of the maps that sat in the box?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And if we can go down, it says the tentative 8 lots. And if we go to the next page, I want you to, if you would, Lindsay, just highlight the first 3 paragraphs, please, and enlarge them, please. There you go. It says a tentative subdivision map was presented and reviewed by this office on August 23rd, 2018. Is that consistent, sir, with your understanding that those maps were in fact reviewed?
Objection, lack of foundation.
Sustained.
What does that mean to you, sir?
It means that, yes, we looked at it on August 23rd, 2018. Now, clearly, we would have looked at it before then, but that's when the decision was made to.
Same objection, Your Honor. There's no foundation that anyone actually did. It's just reading the letter.
You've seen this letter before? Look, you have a better question. Was this letter shown to you during your deposition? You recall?
I do not recall. I have seen it since, I know.
Okay.
I probably saw it actually on August 23rd because that would be part of my job is to record it.
Okay. So at least the document as we read it, and we can see that it's signed by your boss on the 3rd page, 4th page by Mark Savagian, right?
Correct.
Okay. You're not on this letter. You didn't prepare this letter, right?
I didn't even see it until after it was produced.
Okay. And when you say produced, you mean signed and forwarded by Mr. Savagian, to your best of your recollection?
Correct.
Okay. But you do have a recollection of having seen this after Mr. Savagian signed it, at least during the time period you were still employed before 2020.
Correct.
Okay. Is that consistent then with your understanding that Mr. Savagian reviewed the tentative subdivision map?
Correct.
Objection, foundation on that, Your Honor. We don't have any testimony from Mr. Sabalzian. He didn't.
You're, if I can respond, please. He just said, I reviewed it at or about after it was signed.
But that doesn't tell us as to other people reviewing it or what they relied upon in preparing this.
I'm saying he signed the letter that he reviewed. I'm reading now the letter that what he said he did. I'm just asking you.
That's what he did.
Right.
There's still no foundation as to what Mr. Sabalzian did or knew or reviewed.
I didn't ask
That's the basis of my objection.
I'm asking him to say if the letter says what it says, and that was his understanding of what happened.
I'll remove the objection.
Okay. Did you have an understanding that Mr. Savagian in fact reviewed the large lot map?
Objection, lack of foundation.
You can say his understanding based on what he sees.
He says he's reviewed it, so I assume he did.
Okay.
Objection misstates the document. It doesn't say that he reviewed it.
Okay. I'll move on. Letter says what it says.
I understand that now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. But the letter goes on to say, and you have read it, you testified that you did, and you read it at or about the time it was submitted, or shortly thereafter.
And several times since.
All all of the language as it relates to the review of the tentative map, that seems to be hydrologic information. Would you have had any of that information to include in the letter?
No,
Do you, I mean, sitting here looking at this and having read it for the first time, do you have any idea what the regional hydrologic studies from the 1960s were?
Objection, lack of foundation.
I asked him if he had ever reviewed the hydrologic studies from 1960s.
Overruled. You get back to that page.
please state that one more time.
Okay, I'm happy to do it. Second page, Lindsay, please. And if you highlight the the paragraph that begins early regional hydrologic studies. There we go. Sir, have you ever reviewed any regional hydrologic studies from the 1960s that observed the Coyote Springs Valley and adjacent basins were underlain by a large regional carbon aquifer?
I have not personally done that, no.
Would there be any reason for you to do that in connection with your review of a subdivision map?
No.
Just peruse that paragraph and then the following one and tell me if you had any of that information that was included in the September 7th, 2018 conditional approval.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do
Sure.
that one
Just
more
give it a
time.
read. Just give it a read. You've read it before.
Yes.
And I don't want to go through every line of this. We've done that with other witnesses. But is any of the information, at least in paragraph 1, something that you would have had available to you?
I would have had it available to me. Would I have looked at it? Probably not.
Because it's outside your lane?
Yes.
I see you looking at your watch.
I see you looking at the clock.
All right, we're going to adjourn now. And we'll reconvene for trial on the 27th at 10 a.m.
That's Thursday, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, thanks, Don.
Well, I think I'll be seeing you Monday morning, right?
We're attempting to work out a stipulation to that effect.
Oh,
We got motion practice on.
okay.
I actually said it's.
See you when I see you.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
All right.
Oh,
17th. No, he said. Motion, yeah.
Well, alrighty, that's the wrap for today and for the week. Day 15. We have now covered this for over 4 weeks, 15 days, continuing coverage. Coyote Springs LLC versus the state of Nevada. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. Look forward to the update and the article that will be put out. We also have an article that just came out on the website. If you do get a chance to go over to W4Nevada.com, there is a website and you can click news. When you get over there, you'll see that there is a 2027 water sessions already started. The trades boom, what we know, 14 days, Coyote Springs, Stillwater to Northern Nevada Industrial Center. There are quite a few articles there that you can check out and do look forward to those new ones that are getting ready to drop. We've got a piece coming out about Sangatsi Peak and getting rights back, which is insane to me. 9,278 acre feet going back to a mining company. And it didn't even have to hit court because it was released through the state engineer. Joe Cacioppo strikes again. That guy is going to be the death of every Nevadan, in my opinion. What he's doing with water right now is so reckless, so absolutely reprehensible. Like, this man needs to be stopped, and whoever put him in place need not be the governor, obviously, Joe Lombardo. You made a grave mistake. And what has happened in the last 6 months with water and what continues to happen moving forward, and the omnibus that I've reported on, which is also inside that news. When you click on the 2027, it's talking about that omnibus bill. There's a lot of moves going on with the public's natural resource. So look forward to the investigations, the documents, and everything that we're pulling forward. If you have questions, comments, concerns, do reach out. Website, phone number 702-381-4295. And once again, Carson, Churchill, Clark, Douglas, Elko, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lander, Lincoln, Lyon, Mineral, Nye, Pershing, Story, Washoe, and White Pine counties, all 17. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Without you, we have nothing. We are Nevada. and we are Nevadans for Nevada. And once again, we got to remember that we're not just Vegas. As we say every time, read the whole map.
We're not just
Have a great
Vegas.
night,
You're not.
good weekend. Be safe
Read the
out
whole
there,
map.
Nevadans.
Read it. Lights don't run the state. No, they don't. That's a small cap. Small cap. We're not just Vegas. Look around. Past the neon haze. Past it. 17 counties. All of them. Different lives, same place. Same soil. Same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something. Where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting. Where work don't trend and patience is learned. Where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boots dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way. No way. That service talk, surface. Real Nevada, out here. Outside the wall, outside. This land where the sky feel heavier blue. Where the silence louder than the news. Places built slow, no rush to impress. Where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to feel sad. Nevada ain't one tempo, one look, one lane. It's contrast stitched into the same terrain. We're not just Vegas, past the glare, past it. The state move quiet, steady. Everywhere, all around. If you move here, welcome, just learn the pace. Respect the ground, don't rush the place. We don't copy cities that couldn't hold. We're not just Vegas, yeah, no. Read the whole map, read it. Lights don't run the state, no they don't. That's a small cap. No, we're not just Vegas, look around. Got the neon haze, past it. 17 counties, all of them. Different lives, same place, same soil. They think Nevada starting in on the strip. That's like judging a book off the cover it get. Vegas loud, yeah, but that's just a slice. Plenty state left once you drive past the lights. There's towns where a handshake still means something. Where folks know the land and the seasons are blunting. Where work don't trend and patience is learned. Where votes still matter cause people return. We don't all gamble, we don't all party. Some folks wake early, boots dusty coffee. Some places quiet, some places spread. Some rows long conversations with your head. The state breathe wide, not stacked in a frame. Don't shrink us down to a postcard name. We're not just Vegas, no way. That surface talk, surface. Real Nevada, out here. Outside the walk, outside. This land where the sky feel heavier blue. Where the silence louder than the news. Places built slow, no rush to impress. Where people still show up, not just express. Some counties keep food on shelves you don't see. Some keep water managed responsibly. Some keep the lights on, roads still paved. Some keep the history from getting erased. Not every voice come with billboards and sound. Some carry weight just by sticking around. We don't move fast, cause we plan ahead. We don't burn bridges just to feel sad. Nevada ain't one tempo, one look, one lane. It's contrast stitched into the same terrain. We're not just